So you may or may not know, but Vintage Story just got an update, and I'm very excited because it's huge and it has a lot of fun stuff. And I mean it's huge, just look at the changelog. It's packed full of brand new and expanded mechanics, so if there's ever a time to get into Vintage Story, it's now. They've just added a full-fledged fishing system, completely overhauled the smithing system, added brand new dynamically generated dungeons, new trader outposts, psychedelics, customizable cabinets, a functional water wheel, and the list goes on. I mean, as someone who has played Minecraft for 15 years, this update just absolutely dwarfs Minecraft's cube drop or whatever it is. Not only by the sheer quantity of stuff that they've added, but also just the quality of everything that they've added. There's a lot of vision and stuff put into it. So again, I fully recommend you explore and check it out for yourself. But today, I'm going to try to focus on smithing. I'm going to hit some other things too, but smithing is kind of the main goal. So I created this little layout over here for a fully functional smithing complex. It's going to be complete with a forge, cementation furnace, charcoal pit, coke oven, the new giant windmills that were just added, a helve hammer, and a lot of other stuff. I did a little bit of planning on how it will look, so I'm not going to deliberate over, what kind of wood color I need to be using for about an hour, like I usually do. I'm pretty excited to tackle it, especially since I don't have a pickaxe and I need one, and this is going to be how I get it. Over here, I did up the town square a little bit more. I think it looks okay. What it's really missing, though, is foliage. So I have these little garden centers or sections that are all the way around, and maybe I need to alter them a little bit. I was thinking about putting a tree in the center of each one. Maybe a maple tree, a short little cute maple tree. But what would be really cool is crimson maple. That's a rare tree variant. That's it's crimson. You might have seen them in real life. I don't know. But it'd be cool to grow them here, What also be cool is like cherry leaves or something, the pink ones, but we're not that lucky. Or fruit trees. Anyway, before we do anything, this is an old world. This is a 1.21 world, and it won't have a lot of the new features of 1.22, but the devs have gracefully given us a way to easily remedy that. All I have to do is stand on this pedestal, sit down, and spin in a circle. And there we go, we have everything. No, I'm just kidding. Now, actually, what we need to do is type in a command, db prune 7 drop confirm. So if I have this correct, what this does, this flies all the way around me. What this does is it will basically delete all chunks in this world that have less than 7 edits. So an edit is just like placing a block or maybe, like taking berries or, whatever. Like if I've gone somewhere and I've grabbed a stick, that's an edit, but I don't want to keep that whole chunk just because I grabbed a stick there. I've set it to 7, so anything less than 7 edits will be completely deleted. And when I re-explore those chunks, they'll be reloaded in the new update, so they'll have the new content. Maybe this will even reduce my world size, but once I do this, it'll take a minute. And here we go. What would be really cool is if we could get some of those rapids to spawn kind of near here. The new rapids are the only way to power water mills. And so I'm not going to have any water wheels anywhere near this town or anything, but maybe if there was one close by, we could put it to use. This will also put the new berry bushes around, crops, flowers, and a new trader outpost, which would be fun to see. But yeah, it's going to take a while. So you know what? While that's going, why don't I make a cup of tea? This time around, I'm making Dragon Well. This is a large leaf green tea. And let me tell you something about this little tea steeper I got here. This was a gift from my girlfriend for my birthday like 6 months ago. And it's really interesting. It has a magnetic filter thing. So once that's done steeping for about 3 minutes, I just flip the switch there. And there's a magnet in the switch, which pushes a little ball in that filter, and moving that aside allows the liquid to go through and strain all the tea leaves out. It's pretty cool. This Dragonwell stuff has got a little bit of a citrusy flavor, almost. It's pretty good for a green tea, which I don't drink a lot of. But it's nice. It's lower caffeine, and as you can see, it's dark out. So it's good for this time of night. Usually I put honey in tea, but I've actually been thinking about lowering my sugar intake, and besides, tea has been traditionally drank without sweetener for thousands of years. Let's try it. Live taste test. Huh. That's good. It's kind of similar tasting to sencha. It's not the same, but really I should have used more leaves. Or maybe I even could have steeped it for longer, like an extra minute. Though I worry, because green tea is sensitive. So something like 180,000 columns of chunks were deleted, and they'll be rewritten when I re-explore them, just like generating a new chunk. That is an insane amount. My world size is so much smaller. But yeah, anyway, there are some changes around here, some differences. Namely, our trader friend who used to live over there, his name was Marco. He's gone. Marco's gone, sailed off for better pastures. But what we got instead, looks like we have a new flower here called mugwort. Interesting. A bunch of deer. There's these berries over here called beauty berry bushes. Look how big those deer are. Boom. Oh, he's mad. That's a marsh deer. Never heard of a marsh deer before. I think I've killed one of these before. I never heard of a marsh deer in real life. I call it meat. They've changed fat, so instead of just being able to use the fat as is, you now have to render it. Which, I mean, that's accurate to real life. Can we get any of these beauty berries? What even are these, man? Let's get Elkrim over here. They changed the berry model. Now it's different. Look at this guy's rack, man. Look at that. He is a 14 point. I wish I could feed him the berries. All I can do is eat them myself. The berry bushes now have traits. So this one has negative 30% harvest speed. This one has negative 35% ripe duration. Let's find a good one. Okay, negative 30% nutrient uptake. So I think that, like, you can fertilize these now. I think that it has a lower nutrient uptake. That means that it requires less nutrients to be good. You can take cuttings of beauty berries, like this. Shift with a knife. And look at that. I have a beauty berry cutting with all the traits inherited from the parent bush, I guess. So this is a pretty terrible one. So I'm just going to put it back down. Little guy, you can't even see it. There's also like a health state and a growth state. So this one's struggling. I don't know why. This one's healthy and mature, so that's like a pretty good berry bush. I noticed a difference about how these guys ride. Like it's like smoother. The animation is slightly different. Let them go. But look at this. We have a new neighbor. Marco moved on for better pastures, but this guy showed up. This is one of the new trader outposts. So they're way further individualized. Look how detailed this is, man. These palisades are cool. I wish that we could craft palisades as players. I feel like they would make sense for early survival. Furniture trader merchandise. Okay. Oh, hello. What's your name? Karen. Karen is a furniture trader. I can buy windowed iron door. That's kind of convenient because the iron doors are such a pain to craft. As well as these sleek doors. I think that they're uncraftable. You can only buy them. They're pretty nice. Interesting. Okay. Hope we find some more of these guys. I'd like to see the variations in trader camps. I'm gonna have to delete this waypoint. He's gone forever. Added a new waypoint over here. There we go. You might have noticed these berry bushes are still here. I planted them here because they look nice as bushes. So the new berry bush mechanics, they don't replace the old berry bushes, so you can keep all your old ones, but these will no longer generate. Neither will they have an entry in the handbook. It's only the new ones now. So these are basically legacy items. If you have a bunch of these in your world, congrats, they're no longer obtainable. You have a rare item. Alright, there's a lot more to see and do and explore, but I want to get focused on this forge thing. This main building that I've outlined right here will be mostly comprised of granite cobblestone, and I already have a lot of granite and a lot of clay, which is what we need. And I'm sure I have some clay in the clay house. No, I don't. Okay. You know something I learned recently about tea that was pretty interesting? Oh, what the heck? Look, chickens spawned right in my house. See if I can get him in that hole there. Where's the baby? Look at the little baby. Get in there. And I think the baby will try to like rejoin its mother. Oh no, I've got a lot more animals. The model for the sheep and the pigs are now different. And look, here comes the baby chicken. Oh, I scared it off. But yeah, they're updated, which is pretty cool. Also, look, the glass is updated. So it's a little cloudier and the borders are thinner. The spear model has changed. That's a slight thing. This place really kind of looks different with the new glass. I don't have any red glass. All right, I have to go mine some, I guess. Anyway, the thing about tea that I learned that was interesting is that we all know that black tea has higher caffeine than green tea. But the reason it has higher caffeine is not because of some inherent property. All tea is the same plant. The real reason is because you're just steeping black tea at a higher temperature for longer, and that like activates and releases more caffeine from the leaves. That's where it comes from, and that's the only reason. So theoretically, I usually do black tea at boiling temperatures for like 45 minutes. So theoretically, if you had green tea and you did it for that same amount of time at that same temperature, it would have the exact same caffeine content. It would just taste horrible and bitter, because it's so delicate. The main reason black tea has to be steeped at a higher temperature is because it's more oxidized. And so that higher temperature helps kind of break it down a little easier, whereas green tea is not oxidized, or it's only oxidized a tiny amount. Anyway, I want to get this building up because I don't have a pickaxe. I really need one. And I would like to try out the forging mechanics right away. Once we get some cooler blocks, like ashlar blocks, I'll probably redo the walls of this place just a tiny bit. But for now, you're going to have to trust me. It's basically the layout of this building right here. My thought was, this is your front entrance to the building, and the building is like a store. This is a side entrance you can use to walk around the building like an alleyway. And then the back here is like this huge yard with everything you need. Up against this building, there'll be an awning, and that's where we're going to do our smithing. We're going to be outdoor smiths. That's good enough for now for what we need. Now let's go get our supplies. Oh, my fat rotted. Yeah, fat now has an expiration date. I'm gonna need these raw hides for later as well, actually. There's all my legacy bushes. I'm gonna grab some brown coal. I'm gonna take my anvil. The forge model has changed. You'll see why. My tongs. These now have a very small amount of durability, whereas before, they kind of worked infinitely. That's because new tongs exist. You can make some out of every material. I'm just gonna take all this steel. All right, let's hope it doesn't start raining over here. Forgot this. It's a panda bear pelt. So we need a pickaxe. I'm sure it looks like I'm gonna need a shovel soon as well. I'll make 2 of each. And so here's how the forge is different. I'm gonna add a little bit of brown coal. Brown coal burns at 1100 Celsius. There we go. Now before, forges were really simple. All coal, all sources of heat, they gave the same temperature, the same effect. Now they've been fleshed out. So brown coal will actually only heat this steel to 1100, I think. If it even gets that hot, I don't even know. Whereas like charcoal, coke will do better. It also lasts longer now too, so 1 piece of coal will last us, looks like, a little over 2 hours. And steel's getting hot there. And look at that, it's maxed out at 600 Celsius. I can try adding a little more fuel, but that just extends our time. So what we actually have to do to get this coal to burn hotter to its full potential, we need to craft a bellows. And so I can make a crude bellows out of this panda bear hide. And also, look how many new clothes have been added. Wow. Crude hide bellows, just have like a large pelt. You don't need to kill a bear for it specifically, but you do need a huge pelt. So I think you can get that off a moose or like a caribou or something. But bears usually do the trick. There we go. So I think I just place it like that. Yeah, look, there's a little funnel going into the forge. So this is 600 Celsius. If I right-click this, look at that. Look at that temperature pop up, man. You just raised it to 150 Celsius. Let's keep going. But look, as we're using it, its durability is going down. It is crude. So there are better ones that you can make, and hopefully I'll have a better one by the end of this video. What? Hey! Yeah, that's the downside to working outside. Okay, I keep pumping this, but it doesn't seem like it's going above 954. So I guess that's its upper limit, maybe at least for steel, right? Nice and hot, ready to work. So I just want a pickaxe. Simple enough. Ta-da. I'm gonna throw this in the fountain. I think by throwing it in the water, I just quenched it. There's two new mechanics added to tools. It's quenching and tempering. Quenching is, well, I guess it's when you just throw a hot tool into water. So that's the temperature range that you can quench it, and there's another temperature range for tempering. It's been quenched once, you just saw what I did, which means it gained 10% power. It didn't gain any durability, but its chance of shattering upon quenching is 10%. So I think all that really means is that, like, I've increased the efficiency of that tool by dunking in water while hot. But I can't just do that indefinitely, because the more that you do it, the greater the risk of destroying it is. So I wonder how much faster it'll be. That is really fascinating. So look, this is also quenchable because its current temperature is 834 Celsius. So it is within its range. Its normal shatter chance is 5%. Let's just see what happens, I guess. I also think there's an easier way to do this. Like, you can just have a barrel of water and dunk it in that. Times quenched once, power gain 10%. Same as the other one. Let's actually turn these into tools. And then I can compare that to my old shovel. But finally we have a pickaxe. So here's my old shovel. It's almost broken, but its mining speed is about 7% for most things. It's a little slower for gravel and snow. I'm talking. Its attack power is 2.5 damage. But here, look at that, it's 7.7 times speed for mining soil and sand, 4.8 for gravel and snow, 2.8 damage. That's really interesting. Okay. I'm wasting time over here. I need to get these done. I'm gonna have to keep... Oh no, the fuel's almost gone. Oh no, it's gone. Alright, let's get a move on. This works really fast. You're hindering my progress, man. Stay with me. Make another pickaxe. Look, it's not within its quenching range. Let's trade. Look, now it's not getting above 854. Huh. Let's trade. Instead of another shovel, I'm going to do a hammer. Cool. I think you can't just like hit it one time. You got to really pump it back and forth. There we go. These are both quenchable. Now I've actually got no reason to quench the steel hammerhead, so I'll just do the pickaxe head. Look at that, quenched one time, 10% power gain. Heavy temporal storm is approaching. I don't have time for this. Let's do it again. I've nearly used this thing 100 times. Okay, cool. Oop. I think I screwed that up. Alright, that's been quenched twice. I didn't fully do it the first time, I guess. No, that was a diminishing return. I got only 8.3% more that time, but the shatter chance is definitely raised. Let's go again. Officially hit 100 pumps. Look at that, the fuel hours are increasing. And now they just shot back down, holy smokes. That was so weird. Okay, so this looks like it's like a really subtle thing. So if I'm actively working this thing, that'll decrease the amount of time the fuel has left, because it's consuming it faster, I guess. Once I ease off this thing, though, it'll go back up a little bit, so I'll have a little bit more time. So look, I have 0.8 hours. Let's pump that a little bit, and then it shot down to 0.58. But now, since I'm not touching it, it's going back up. I just have to work it fast, though. I really want that steel pickaxe head to get to its proper temperature. There we go. Perfect. Oh! Oh no! It was only a 15% chance of that happening. Oh no! The next thing I'm gonna need to get for this build is granite rock and basalt rock. And so I'm gearing up to fight. I mean, this is the best I can do, really. Why am I gearing up to fight? Well, basalt can only be found at Y12. And as you can see, we're at 114. So that's pretty far down. It can also be found on the surface in biomes, rarely. But I don't think I've ever really seen one around here that I remember. So this is the next best place. But I believe basalt has a unique property. Basalt naturally spawns monsters that are like way tougher than normal monsters. So I'm gonna get my bandages ready. Oh look, a bell. Bells also spawn monsters, that's what they do. Oh, what a horrible noise. They're really tough and hard to kill. Oh, I got it. How many arrows are on the ground, man? So yeah, I'm just getting myself into a lot of trouble right here. I see you. Holy crap. Oh. 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 Okay. Oh, hello. Holy crap. Oh my gosh. Oh my gosh. Where do I go? Where do I go? I'm following you. Oh. Oh my gosh. I'm just gonna heal up a tiny bit. This armor is not for this kind of deep caving. We haven't even hit basalt yet. That bell spawned so many monsters. Holy smokes. Good thing we have arrows. I see you. Oh. This guy has a knife for a hand. Finally got him. Oh. Ow. Phew. Oh, a temporal storm is imminent? Oh, I forgot about that. Oh, I really forgot about that. Okay, we gotta go. We gotta go. We gotta go. Yeah. Wait. Okay, bye-bye, everybody. It was nice getting to know you all. Ow. Okay. Get me out of here. We're almost there. Oh god. Oh god. Hey. Alright. Ride, Elkram, ride. Oh, get out of my house. Oh. Where's Dave? Where's the Thunderlord? Can I not? Oh, there he is. There he is. Sammy's walking. Yeah, I guess the new windows, you can't like hardly see the guy. You could just kind of see his legs. I've tried to cook this pot of red meat olive stew like 5 times now. It used to be in 1.21.6 that you could just cook an entire pot with only 2 pieces of firewood, and there would be enough residual heat left in the fire to fully cook the whole thing. But I tried 2 pieces of logs, I tried coal, I tried 3 logs, I tried 4 logs. It's just not working at all. So now I'm just kind of babysitting it. Anytime the fire temperature gets below or close to 200, I'll dump in another log here. But this is taking a long time. It's a valid recipe. Anyway, I think I know what went wrong with our last caving adventure. The problem was that you're not subscribed to me. Ooh. It may not mean like a whole lot to you, but it does mean a whole lot to me if you subscribe. It's just something nice that you can do. It does help the channel a lot. I'm trying to hit 100K by the end of the year. The current trajectory says that that's not going to happen, but it would be cool. You know what I see in other people's videos? I'm not calling anybody out for this. You know, some other people like to like whip out their statistics, their channel stats, and use it as evidence, and they like accuse you of like, look, only 1% of you are subscribed. What are you doing? It's like they're shaming me into subscribing to them. Does that actually work? All the YouTubers that I've regularly watched throughout like the years of watching YouTube, the only ones who have ever done that thing, like they pull out their stats and say, 95.3% of you aren't subscribed to me. Those are the ones I don't ever subscribe to. I never really thought about that till now, but it's true. So at least to me, it doesn't work, so I'm not going to shame you. You know what? Actually, don't subscribe to me. I don't want it. Go subscribe to Mr. Beast. He needs it more than me. Okay, let's try this again. I have a temporal gear this time, just in case my stability gets low. I'm only going to put 1 torch in my offhand, so I can place torches around. Let's get lucky. Oh yeah, I found another pickaxe. Like, I already had this, so we can compare. This is where I panicked and fled last time. Excuse me. That is a nightmare drifter, I think. That is the 2nd strongest drifter. Ow. The bell dropped a lot of good stuff. Okay. Okay. Nightmare Botorn. I think that is the strongest Botorn. Got him. Ow. Oh my gosh. There's a lot of them. Okay, okay, okay. We're healing. We're healing. Dude. Oh, oh. Leave me alone. Leave me alone. Oh. Do I just need better armor for this? Okay, well now I'm gonna try to get my stuff with nothing. Cool. Oh boy. When you recently die in this game, you glow. You know? You might have noticed that before, but that's a thing you can do, I guess. Trying again. Stop. Okay. Now look. I'm kind of curious what kind of pentlandite. Huh. Got him. You're next. Oh. They both had seizures at the same time. Ow. Got you. Dude, die. Oh my gosh. Light this area up a little bit. Some of these guys, you can kind of carve them up and see if you get good drops. That guy had a temporal gear. Cool. Whoa. I just saw these dudes spawn right in front of me. That's 2 nightmare drifters. I'm just here to mine, dog. Oh. Alright. Oh, alright. Oh, there is no way I survived that. Holy smokes. Come on. Oh, man. Okay, back in action. So a lot of these bad guys are coming from down here. And look, that's because there's basalt here. Oh. And another translocator. There's one right here. Carrots, soybean, ooh, painting. I want that. I guess it's time to test out these pickaxes. This one's normal. This one is boosted. Let's compare the speeds. Normal. A little faster. Normal. A little faster. It's kind of nice. This is a Vintage Stories version of enchanting. And you get like dirt and build a wall here. Nothing comes and bothers me. Ow! Okay, I lost him. Oh, I didn't lose you, though. Dude, this is ridiculous. Oh. 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 Oh, I was kind of hoping those ladders could help me block off a way in here. What? Excuse me. Huh. Oh, you're alive. With the amount of flax I took off their dead bodies, I can craft more bandages. So we can stay down here even longer. So first 11 basalt rocks. Freaking finally. We need a lot more. Seems like they've stopped bothering me now, though. Basalt rock is the host rock for emerald. Ooh, bismuth. We know that one. A lot of ores that we're used to cinnabar. Never found that. And obsidian rock. Wow. I think I've seen little obsidian stones before, but I've not found any in this world. I've never found this obsidian rock, that's for sure. Never found emerald either. But this basalt stuff, like, if you can't find it on the surface, I guess you have to do this. So looking on the surface is certainly preferable. But I mean, this is a cool rock. You may be wondering, like, why am I using this one? Because I want to build a fence around the forge area. It'll keep out monsters and stuff. And basalt is the darkest rock we can kind of get. And I want it to be really dark fence. As far as I know, there's like no blocks darker than that. I mean, I think actually Terra Preta is probably darker. But this is soil. If I get any of this, I'm using it in farming. I'm not going to waste it on a fence. Anyway, hopefully you get the picture. Oh, my helmet. I'm stuck. No way, I'm stuck between this pot and this little tiny layer of clay. I'm stuck. Oh man, I can't even move left or right. I think that each of these individual voxels has a hitbox, and I'm like inside of one of them. That was weird. I got enough basalt, thankfully. I think I have like a decent amount of granite. This is the next step. We're in the clay shop, and you know what I realized? I don't actually have a good spot to form clay. I think that was something I wanted to put in here, like a clay working station, and I didn't. I got to think about that, I think. But anyway, I'm going to make a bunch of shingles. I'm going to fire them in the kiln at a certain temperature so they turn brown, because I want to have a brown shingle roof. The other thing that I want are tan bricks, and I have to fire those separately. My eye is really itching me, man. God. Yeah, I planted 50 trees, have my hands in the dirt and the poison ivy and the thorns and stuff, and I think I touched my eye at some point because it's really bothering me. Ugh. Anyway, we're going to fire these, and the other thing we need is oak, but I've actually got a lot of that, so I think that's pretty much all the prerequisites to our building. Plaster, we need plaster. I've got plaster, so not worried about that. Oh yeah, out here. You may have noticed the center, I have like some random dry stone blocks in here. It's because I couldn't remove them when my pickaxe was broken. Now I can remove them. I was experimenting with designs, and this was one of them that I tried. The dry stone looks a little bit like the path blocks. Kind of, I don't know. Anyway, this center is like not my favorite thing ever, but I think it'll look better once we have some trees in the corners and like a statue with some water spouts coming out. That'll be cool. There's alternating light stone tile and normal diamond pattern stone tile. The other thing I had done is I took all these tile blocks and I shaved them down just a voxel so that they were the same height as the path blocks. I left my multigraph at the house, but I'll have to shave those down. And here I have 4 tree seeds. So I have 2 oak, and I have 2 maple. And we'll see how those look. Maybe I'll want to do fruit trees, but those take an entire year to grow. Well, these take like, it'll sprout in a day, and then it'll probably take 10, 15 days after that, I don't know. That's that. It's time to start hand placing every single one of these voxels. Just like this. Ta-da! This is probably not even enough. A very long day, maybe 2 days of clay forming later. I spared you most of this. But look at this, the kiln is nice and full, and you want to notice something? This is a big old stack of shingles. This is 192 shingles. You can actually stack other pots and stuff on top of it like this. Can you see it? Like as long as this ends up completely even with the shelving here, you can just stack stuff on top of it, so that's kind of convenient. I have bricks in here, I have storage vessels in here, way more shingles over here. Crucibles, bowls, crocks, pots, jugs, planters. My thought is if I'm gonna fire some clay, I might as well max out the most I can out of my fuel, right? I got a little bit more to put in here. Let's see if we can stick it all in here without causing a problem. Boom. And then the last bit, some raw blue bricks. They don't all fit in there. There's stocked to the brim. So the blue clay will turn into black stuff, right? So we'll get, black pots, black bowls, and this will help complete our collection. We have some gray ones, so I'll have some black ones next to this. All the red will turn into brown, which I think I might put here, maybe here. And that'll kind of help fill out the rainbow, Oh, by the way, there was this thing I complained about before, where these cooking pots textures were swapped, the tan and the fire clay, and it was really bothering me. But it looks like they got fixed in a new update, so now it's finally looking pretty good here. To get these red clay forms to be brown, we need 3 doors open. We need all 3 doors open. So let's do that. This one's kind of a tight fit. There we go. Ta-da. There it goes, it's burning. Receives heat. There's the smoke. This is going to be our roof blocks. That's pretty much the whole point. The shingles for the roof. We have plenty of materials to get started on this build now. So the first thing I'm going to make is some granite ashlar. Chop up a bunch of this. I don't have a lot of mortar. It's probably alright though. Oh yeah, let me fix this path here. Every time I do a shave on a block, it usually causes a tiny lag spike. See him? I guess because it's calculating all those voxels individually. Tree sprouted. Got 14 days on that one. 12 on that one. 10. 9. Wow, okay. I was thinking that using actual bricks for the trim around this building would be pretty cool. Maybe it's a little harsh, but I think it looks alright. What I do wish that I had, like, aged granite ashlar. So there's aged variants of a lot of different stone blocks. There's aged versions of this, and it has a completely different texture. This is what it looks like. Very different. But so, if you look at this, it's actually kind of a perfect halfway point between the ashlar blocks and the cobblestone. So I would love to put that to use. But where the heck do I find that? I don't know. I have no idea. Everything around here, as far as the eye stretches, it's all limestone, claystone, and sandstone. Brittle, sedimentary rock. There's no, the mountains are granity. There's no ruins on top of there. So anyway, we would need to find a granite-dominant area to find ruins made out of that, because that's what determines the actual material the ruins are made out of. But for now, we're sticking with this, and it'll probably be okay. The shovel's so fast with the little quenching boost it has. I can't wait to figure out that whole system a little bit more. That'll be fun. Can't wait to get a better bellow. We're gonna need leather for that. Let me do this. Vertical slabs. Now we have some windows in this wall here. Let's continue our progress with this wall. I know what I want for the front. I'm sure some windows will also be going on the back. I don't know where they'll be going yet, though. I have some ideas that I like. I think this is the basic stone structure of this building. The next thing I'm going to grab is some plaster. I've got some over here. We're going to have these 2 plaster outcroppings. And that might look a little bit strange and a little bit ugly. But just let me detail it. It'll look pretty good once all the details are in place. I'm going to shave these all in half. Nice. We need a handful of things here. I need to make some windows. I need to make some doors. I need to make a lot of beams. Do we have any lead? We do. Nice. That's the best tasting metal out of all of them. And we need nails and strips. I don't know how many. Oh, just 2. What? Oh yeah, these things here. Bulk ingot molds. These are something that the meteoric steel mod adds. I have a mod that gives meteoric steel. But like, I didn't ask for this in the mod. You know, I didn't ask for a way to bulk fire ingots. I mean, it's cool, but that's not what the mod is just a meteoric steel mod. It's not a bulk ingot mold mod. So that was just kind of added to it, and I didn't know it was added to it. It didn't have it before. Anyway, this is how we make a window. Window here, 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 here. One there, one there. Then the big doors. We can make 3 tall doors this way. They're a little pricey. Crap. But it's worth it. How cool, huh? Then we have to debark these oak logs, saw them into beams. Now I'm going to very meticulously place these here. You can kind of click anywhere, but by holding control, it'll be super accurate. This is exactly where I want these beams to be. I'm going to put it like right there. I'm going to put this one. Yeah, about right there. And then boom, we have like a teeny tiny arch. I think that looks nice. And I want to do the same for the windows. By the way, I recently started another Vintage Story series. I was like a wilderness survival run. And I gave myself only 5 lives. I already lost one of them. But it was a very cinematic video, you know. I tried to do something really different that I don't normally do. I'm pretty proud of how it turned out. I think I got that one wrong. So if you guys would like to check it out, it would be very nice of you. And I think that it would be... It's like kind of accurate, I don't really know. Alright, we got those. I want to add beams to these too, obviously, but I'm going to wait until the kiln is done firing. How close to done are we, actually? Oh! Wow, it's done. I guess I slept through it all. We got 24 clinker bricks. These are neat. Oh. You could throw them? Huh. Is that new? I didn't mean to do that. Clinker bricks is what these walls are made out of. I think it's pretty cool. And then in here, black ceramic crock. How interesting. The cooking pot looks pretty cool. So I think this goes right here. Nice. Several planters, some bricks. I meant for these bricks to kind of like go in there, but they're actually unreachable. But there's a few brown bricks in there. I'm just gonna get down. And now I can't get out. I have to think a better way to store these. Now these are brown. Interesting. I'm just gonna set that one there. And put these away. But I might use the planters in that build. And more brown bricks up here. Oops. Where was I going to put the jugs? I think I was going to put them here. Yeah. We have black crucible. Brown crucibles, which means that we have brown of everything, at least for this row. And the last thing is the shingles. It's a lot of shingles, man. I can't even grab them all. There we go. Oh, I didn't mean to turn those. Oh! Dang it. You know, now that it's becoming kind of like spring in real life, I've been wanting to get into fishing. I used to fish occasionally as a kid. I just haven't really done it in a long time, and I got a fishing rod for Christmas, which is neat. Yeah, but the fishing is such a depth of knowledge. Like, there's so much to it. And I kind of like, for me, if I were to do it, I would kind of want to be able to eat what I catch, to be able to cook them. I haven't gotten many chances to do that in my life because no one in my family likes seafood, except for me. I remember one time when I was very young, I think 6th grade, so like 11 or 12, I went fishing with some students in my class. My history teacher was doing the fishing trip thing. It wasn't history related, it was like a field day type thing. And then he taught me how to, fillet a fish. Then we wrapped it in tinfoil and we cooked it on a campfire. And that was like delicious. That fish was just great. Super yummy. And that was the last time I ever ate a fish that I caught. So I would like to do that again. I don't know where to start. I'm sure there's a tutorial YouTuber. I'm sure there's like an app or whatever, you know. I'm just sure there's all kinds of stuff. But it's a lot, you know. But you know what we can do? They just added fishing to this game. And so we can go fishing. But we also kind of can't go fishing. So the reason that we can't go fishing is because I think that Old Worlds will not generate animal maps for fish and lakes or something like that. Animal spawning is determined by animal maps that are written over like chunks, and that determines where they spawn. It's the same for the new fish that you have to fish for, but since this is an old world, it doesn't spawn with those animal maps. Like that huge lake that I have right next to my house, that will never have any fish unless it changes in an update. So I found a mod that actually rectifies that. And it adds like a command that lets you kind of regenerate the animal maps in a chunk. So I'm going to try that out. But the thing about this mod is you should never have it on just normally. Like if you're not going to use it specifically, you should probably turn it off. Because it can cause serious bugs with world generation, like huge bands of just completely dark chunks that kill all the foliage and stuff. It's just a little buggy. I learned that the hard way. Alright, I'm running out of room in my inventory, but let's just see what else we can do here. We'll do that. We'll do that. Do that. Now we have a frame. So I can click this corner and have it go across, but it'll actually cover parts of the window. You see, because it's kind of between these two. So if I hit that corner, it's hard, you can't see it because it's being covered by a beam, and then I aim down. There we go, that's a good point. Nice, and it doesn't cover that window at all. And the same goes for this. And on top. There we go. And there's that. And I think it looks pretty snazzy. Let's change the side there a bit. Yeah. Alright, same thing on this side. Ta-da! And so I think that immediately with the addition of these beams, this already looks way better. Of course, the roof is kind of invisible in the dark. It is what it is. There's another step over here that involves kind of building an awning out of oak on this side. And then chiseling it down. There we go, that's kind of the slope that I want, and then I just have to chisel it all the way across. But yeah, this might look a little bit clearer or better in the daytime. Alright, here's a look at this in the daytime. I finished this awning thing, and I even added these curvy little windows. I think that these would be the perfect size for a flower pot. I just don't have any flowers on me. Oh, you know what? We actually do have some mugwort. What a beautiful name for a flower. Let's use some of our beautiful new brown flower pots. These will not be center in the window frames. I would have to like re-chisel them. Oh, that's not bad. I'd have to re-chisel them to be center. I almost wonder if this would be better if I put like an outcropping here or something like that, so you could very like obviously see where it is. You know, I'm gonna do that. But instead of an outcropping, which is gonna cost blocks, let's do an incropping. Now it's like a little more obvious. Cool, right? And I'll do one inside as well. Okay, there's that, I think. Oh, excuse me. This is turning out pretty well. The next part is that cool fence I was talking about. You're gonna finally see what I meant. Yep. Why we risked our lives and lost our lives several times to get this specific rock. It all starts like this. We're gonna have to chisel it down. I actually only need to do 1/2 of this because I can mirror it with the mirror tool. Trust the vision, guys. Okay, and then I'm gonna mirror this using the wonderful chisel mod. Yeah, I think that's it, actually. I'm gonna raise this whole thing 2 blocks higher. I'm going to copy that shape. The top one I'm going to remove all those. Paste it some more. Maybe now you can see where I'm going, huh? Look at that. Pretty Victorian. But I'm not done, actually. I have a little bit more to do. Gonna knock that down on all sides. Just getting a little dark, but we're almost there. And there we go, look. It's a little spike, or a pine tree, I don't know. I think that this fence needs to be centered, actually, and it's not. I need to push this until it is the center of the block. Is that the center? I think so. There we go, look at that. Look at this fence, man. It's a little different style from the rest of the thing, but I think it works. And of course it's dark, so it's a little hard to see, but I have to make that fence stretch the entire perimeter of the yard, all while avoiding getting shot by shadow demons. In the grass over there, there's some more marsh deer. This is very essential. Why did I take damage? Hey, dude. You ruined my surprise attack. Get him, Malcolm. Good boy. Okay, anyway, there's some marsh deer. I cannot really see them. Here's an old hunting technique. There he is. I'm going to be smithing a lot of arrows at this new forge, that's for sure. You know, I guess I've been picking them up after I shoot them. I had 2 stacks originally. These 2 stacks have lasted me a very long time. Hello. I had them like ever since I left my old home. What we needed from that marsh deer was the hides. Same kind of hides I got from the other one that we killed earlier. I don't really have a fully functioning tannery, but it's not too difficult to get set up. I have a barrel of weak tannin that I made here earlier. So let's just soak these. I think it... Oh, that's too much. Wait, how do we do this? Oh, wait, no, it's diluted borax or lime water first. Oh, okay. I haven't done that in a while. Not tannin. My bad. Okay, so how do we make lime water? It's 1 water and 1 lime. I think that I have some in the kern. Yeah. I heard something interesting, right? That I was never told before. But if you spin this thing, and obviously it's very slow, that's why it's good to automate it later down the line, which I will be doing. But if you spin this thing manually, and it's against blocks, it's even slower. So I guess this is a little bit of a myth. Well, I don't know if it's a myth or not. We're gonna figure it out. Let's just put it in the middle of the room. Is it faster? It's literally not faster at all. Who told me this, man? Someone told me that this would make it faster if it was away from a wall. Alright, maybe I'm just not remembering correctly. I mean, is that not the exact same? That is the exact same. Yep. Okay, myth debunked. Okay, lime water. Put the rawhides in here. Soak it. And in 20 hours we can stick it in there. I'm gonna get this one going as well. We need weak tannin and then strong tannin. We can make both with oak logs. If I add 5 to here, we'll get weak tannin. If I add 5 to here, we'll get strong tannin, and there you go. Why do we need to do this? We need leather. This is how we make leather. If we get leather, we can make these small bellows. Those are currently the most powerful bellows you can make. I don't know what kind of durability this has because it doesn't say. I wonder if it even has durability. Yeah, this one has durability. Look, 500. This one doesn't even have it listed. I assume it works forever. Look at all the different colors of leather you can get. Clothing is something I never got into, but it looks really cool. So we can dye leather green. We can make green leather. We use that to make different shields and different books and wall mounts. It looks like leather doesn't affect the color of the wall mount, though. It's interesting. It's not used for clothing. It's only used for shields, books, and then these. They added way more clothes now. I think this is just some of them that you can now craft. I just searched a random common ingredient. And I have these really nice shirts. Chemise top, off-shoulder, long, scoop. You can make some pretty nice stuff. Look at these boots, man. Make these kirtle tops, pastoral shirt, peasant shirt, homespun shirt. And then like each color of cloth seemingly has its own kind of unique clothes that you can make. My point is there's just like a whole realm to that, and I think it would be fun to kind of create and customize an outfit. Because I've been wearing these threads. It looks like I'm wearing a giant onesie. I've been wearing these since I spawned into this world last year. I've never taken them off. This is the first time. Maybe I should walk around shirtless. It's probably manlier. What do you think? Yeah, I'm going to do that from now on. It's 24 Celsius. It's hot, man. Need to cool off. That's kind of cool. Oh, God. All right. What are you doing on the roof there, buddy? Oh, someone's stalking me. No hit. I want to try something else that was kind of recently added. Let's check out fat rendering. Also, I need to cook something. I'm going to go ahead and throw this in here. Okay, so I have one residue-covered earthy brown ceramic pot. And so that's for cooking like non-food items. I don't know if fat counts as a food item, but it's better safe than sorry. So if we put this in here, nothing happens. Interesting. That's weird because it's not a complicated recipe. Do I have to use a normal pot? Does this not count anymore? I think at a certain point in the release candidates, you did need to use one of these residue-covered pots. Cooking fat in a pot would turn it into a residue-covered pot. But now, I guess it doesn't. So let's see what happens here. There we go. We'll create 2 lumps of rendered fat. Once that's done, we can do a few things with this. Looks like rendered fat is now used for windmill parts. That's important. The fruit press. I crafted one of those before the update hit, so we're good on that. A longbow. You know, my longbow's getting kind of old. I do have a bow stave I could use. It looks like it doesn't strictly require rendered fat. But yeah, mechanical parts, oiling hides, and then these ceramic oil lamps, which are pretty cool. I guess it's like an early light source, an early game light source before you hit the metal age. Look at that, it's already done. Lump of rendered fat. And the pot stayed clean. So, does this expire? No, it doesn't. And our other meal is done. Come on, buddy. Come on. I think, just from looking over here, this house is already looking really good. It's looking pretty freaking cool. Especially now that that fence has been fully installed. Look at that, huh? See, it was worth it. The basalt was worth it, in my opinion. Now over here, there's no fence. We have these things. That's because I thought it would be cool to have an outdoor coal storage shed. And so there's 4 bays in here for each type of coal that we'll put to use. There's brown coal, black coal, charcoal, and then coke. Then maybe I also need to stack firewood somewhere. I don't know. So, what else goes in this beautiful yard of ours? I need to tear up all this dirt, replace it with gravel, stone, sand, whatever, to stop the grass from growing. And that corner over there is going to be a cementation furnace, which is used for carburizing iron into steel. In the center, I am going to have 6 coke ovens because they're pretty cheap. Over on that side, I'm going to have a charcoal pit. I guess it'll be a charcoal silo. All of those things require fire clay. Cementation furnace requires crushed bauxite, which we need a pulverizer and stuff for. Each coke oven requires an iron hatch door. Those are expensive. The charcoal pit is probably going to be fine, but I would rather use an iron door just because they don't spread fire. Now, we can buy iron doors, apparently, from our new friend over there. But we have to do a lot of smithing to get all that other stuff. And over here, this section, we're going to have a windmill. That windmill is going to power a Hellhammer. And a grindstone, except I don't really know where the grindstone's going to go. I'll figure that out eventually. And to properly smith out here my iron doors, I have some iron blooms that I can smith in iron ingots that I can then smith in iron doors. But to smith out here properly, I'm going to need an awning, because it might rain. You know, we don't want the rain to put out our smithing effort. So that's the plan. Let's do it. For the posts in this awning, I'm going to craft some oak quarter logs. You can actually then debark these. Right? No? Wait a minute. Oak debarked quarter logs. Those are a thing. Oh, I have to debark them first. Apparently I can't do that after. Okay, cool. Well, that was a waste. There we go. Nice. So one goes here. One goes there, I think. One goes here. And then, like, kind of my plan is do a very similar awning to that, or an overhang, but it'll be a little bit more gradual of a slope. It's kind of like that. I do want to chisel it up. I don't know what the shape would look like. Let's try something. Yeah, okay. Oop. So that's kind of her shape. I wonder if I should have done, instead of slabs, I should have done full blocks. No, there's enough material in there for that, okay. But there's not in this one, because that extends past the blocks limit. So good to keep that in mind, right? Okay. And then basically just continue that shape all the way down. The other thing I wanted to do, this is going to break these ladders off. I wanted to shave these down like this. Bye-bye ladders. Maybe I could leave the base like that. It's kind of neat. Yeah. So then you kind of have this post. It's a little distinct from a beam. It's thicker than a beam. That's what a beam looks like. That's what this big old post looks like. So I think it's kind of cool and like different, you know? To make this shape work, I'm gonna have to probably chisel in a wood slab here. Yeah, like that. But that's really not too expensive. And then there you go. Not bad. Let's add debarked logs to this. There we go. Do I even need this extra overhang? Like, that's all that it is. Could just leave it. Yeah, maybe I'll just... Yeah, I'll think about it, you know? These coal bays are another thing I want to finish. Now, I was kind of thinking that the roofs for these should be made out of black shingles. But I'm not going to use these roof blocks because I want it to have a really gentle slope. These are made out of light mud brick, which I just think is a very aesthetically pleasing brick texture. And now I'm out, so that's cool. We make light mud brick, sand, dirt, clay, and grass. Okay then. It feels like we're moving along pretty quickly, but really, there's still a lot more to be done. I haven't even gone fishing yet. Time for the next phase of the leather making process. Take these, scrape them, and then we just move it into the weak tannin barrel and seal it. There you go. Unfortunately, I actually have some bad news about the world. I didn't really expect this to happen. I was hoping it wasn't going to happen, but it turns out that Elcrim is a phantom because he's sticking his head all the way into the house through the window. How is this possible? I have no idea. Could he share in such power? It seems he's keen on keeping it to himself. We have a few more chores to do. Look how, like, lit up everything is. It's kind of neat. I want to get more lampposts and lighting and stuff working later. In the pottery store, I've clay formed a bunch of stuff. I want to burn these till they're black. That'll have the side effect of turning all this stuff red. I mean, it is already red, but it'll be fired in red. And that'll complete our collection of that. Already got it fueled up. Apparently all I need is one door closed to get the colors that I want. So that'll fill out the red section. We don't have any red things yet. That'll round out the black section. And it'll give us tiles, which is what we really need over here. It's a calm rift activity night, or it was. But even so, I added some gates here. You know, just in case. I built these up a little bit. I didn't have enough to do the roof, so that's why I'm making more black tile. And then this sucker's done. Looking pretty good, in my opinion. That means we're ready to smith. I have 15 iron blooms. I also have 4 iron ingots. What we need are 6 iron hatch doors. These are expensive. The other thing I need are 2 iron doors. We can buy these, though. That's a lot of work, especially for this little crude hide bellows and my dinky little wooden tongs. What would really help speed up the process is some kind of mechanical power, and that's the plan, right? We need a windmill. And they just added large windmills. That's what we're going to craft. So to build this, we need large windmill sails. I'm going to get as many of these as I possibly can. Pretty expensive. And then it requires a metal hubbed rotor to mount to. Looks like many materials are available. Iron, meteoric iron, and steel. We have 4 iron rods and then a heavy iron bracket. So that's 12 bars of iron just to make this hub. Also note that the beams in the recipe must be made of a certain stronger types of wood. Really? I thought all wood types were kind of equal in this game. Kapok is strong, maple is strong. Maybe we won't see any pine in here. Oak, makes sense. Ebony. Yeah, no pine, no birch, no larch either. That makes sense. Good to know. The same goes for this, apparently. This is going to be a tough one, okay. I have an idea for how this is going to look. We're going to need a lot of wood for it. But first, I guess, let's get smithing. Let's just see how far we can go. I wonder if we'll even be able to do it all. So I'm going to have to smith these individually into ingots. And you can only do one at a time in the forge. You know, if there was a blacksmith trader that sold, like, rods, plates, whatever, how helpful would that be? I don't believe any do, though? Oh yeah, 1.22.1 came out, and it changed the sounds of the bellows. Seems a lot quieter. I don't know what the proper temperature of this is supposed to be, but we'll find out. I feel like this texture looks different. It would also be very nice to use the windmill to forge these, because they're such a tedious little pain in the butt to kind of get done. There's one. Hey, look, it's raining. It's just ever so slightly raining. Good thing we have the zoning, huh? To keep myself motivated while I was smithing all those iron blooms, I've decided to make a mix of tea. This is Earl Grey and Irish breakfast. And I just found that I really like this combination. Occasionally I get bored. I drink so much tea and so many different kinds of tea, I start to experiment, and this is one of them. It's not that outlandish. No honey this time either, and I'm having it with some focaccia I got from a bakery with rosemary. It's pretty good. Okay, one more. Doing this kind of metalwork at scale has been enlightening. First, I consumed a ton of fuel. Like the temperature the brown coal can reach versus the temperature that iron ingots are actually workable. It's a very thin margin, so that means I'm on the clock as soon as I put these down. And I gotta keep pumping that thing. It's over half destroyed. So yeah, I will be eagerly awaiting some better gear. This iron bracket thing, it takes 1,000,000 years to produce. I broke a pair of tongs holding these. Oh, I broke a hammer. Yeah, okay, look, too cold to work. It was a very short amount of time. The tea helped, though. I have one sip of my cup left. I'm saving it for when I'm done. A taste of victory. Oh, crap. Something else I've noticed here. The gear's been spinning to the left. Not great. That means that this part of the world, I guess, is temporally unstable. So if I spend enough time here, I'll go insane. Or I guess it's not really called that. I think that's a holdover from another game. Now what will really happen is I'll enter the rest world. My bad. Just want to correct the record on that. Alright. That was the last one. And the sun's coming up. Nice. Kind of want another slice of that focaccia, but I should probably limit myself there. Okay, so we need beams and boards. I have some beams. I don't want to use any oak beams because they're structural for us. We're going to use them in the building itself. I know I have some beams laying around up here, though. Oh, we got some redwood. Redwood was an option, right? It is. Nice. We have some maple. Got a lot of maple. No, that's pine. We have walnut. I mean, that's plenty. Redwood is a good wood to use for this kind of mass production stuff because I don't think it looks good with many things. At least with many things that I build. It's like too pink. But you know, it works for all this crafting we need to do. 4 of these. 4 of these. 1, 2, 3. 4 of those. Nice. Metal windmill rotor. Alright, this is where it's going to get a little tricky. I'm going to debark some of these so we can get support beams. We're going to need a lot. I'm going to slice up some of them as well for the oak boards. My plan for the windmill is I'm going to build a tower like you'd see in an old ranch. And this tower is going to have posts made of beams. It's the simplest thing to do. And then rings holding it together made of oak slabs. And it's going to be kind of just off the center of this building, so need to do that. Is that too low? Yeah, that needs to be a little higher. Need some scaffolding blocks for this. It's getting dark. I gotta put my chickens up. I don't know if the proportions of this are correct, but it doesn't matter. My shovel in here. Is it in there? Dude. Where's my shovel? Oh, there it is. Why couldn't I find that? It's in my inventory the whole time. Okay, so like some adjustment might need to be made, but ideally, excuse me, I'm talking. Ideally, I can get some posts and kind of like stretch it all the way from the floor to the top of this thing, right? Let me just build some more scaffolding to get up there. Oh, shoot. Ow. I don't know how expensive this is going to be. Okay, but let's try it. Let's start from this section of the block. And I'm just going to drag it all the way to the top. And then end it right there on that corner, maybe? Oh, yeah, I don't like that. It like needs to be moved. Let's try this. Let me attach it to that thing. Start from there. And then let me put it to there instead. Okay, is that better? That's a little better. That's like a little bit closer to what I want. I'm gonna make one more change. I'm going to, instead of here, we'll start it from the center block. There we go, there's our post. It goes all the way to the top like that. I don't mind that this layer kind of wraps around it and those layers don't. I do not mind how that makes that look. But it very well could be that I need to lower that a little bit just to make it make a little more sense. Since it's a top half slab, I can just do that, right? So maybe that'll be a nice middle ground. I'm hesitant to lower the whole thing. The reason I'm hesitant to lower that whole thing is because the higher a windmill is, the better power you get from it. So I want it to be as high as possible without looking too out of place. That being said, I don't really know what that height is, but yeah, that looks better. You know something? I bet these are gonna break when I swap the floor out for something else. Yeah, I bet they are. Hold on, I have a plan. Let's just do something fun. I have some granite, dry stone. Maybe you see where I'm going with this. That's like really simple, right? Maybe even means I gotta do this again. Okay, little post. A little higher. Not terrible. I can clearly see that that's not connecting up there, and that means maybe I need to do some chiseling. Or some more beam placement or whatever. But that works for now. That also saved me an extra beam. Just that half a block difference. Okay. That's something, right? You can kind of see where this is going if you couldn't before, or maybe you can't. I don't know. This is not all I'm gonna do. This also needs like some cross bracing. I'm not totally sure what the cross bracing is gonna look like. Let's try something. So maybe I start from there and I end up right there. That's kind of cool. It's a little high. Yeah, but it works. As opposed to starting that cross bracing like down here, you know, like right there. Let's look at it from over here. We have that cross brace. Kind of hard to tell with all the scaffolding in the background. Or we have that one. I don't know, it makes more sense to do it like this, I think. Cool. I'm in a cage of my own making. I wanted to have some down here. This might require some trickery. But I think if I aim right there, like that. Where's that one go to there? Nice. Nice. That looks pretty good. Running out of oak wood, though. I really am running out of oak wood. I only have 3 beams left. Surely we have some more. Right? Or did I waste all of it? I used it as fuel, too. Look, these berries came in. That's so weird that I can still grow it like this, even though these don't exist anymore. Oh, get out of here. This family of deer's been eating all the grass in my yard or something. Do we have any oak? In here? No. I got support beams, though. No oak in there. No oak in here. Oh, we got a little bit. Look at that. Look how cool that is, huh? Not to toot my own horn or anything, but that looks freaking awesome from over here. Like, it's very fitting, you know? All it needs, I think, is like some lanterns. Maybe some plants, bushes, or a fruit tree. The interior. I don't know if I'm going to be able to get to that. I wish I could. Oop, that's from the wrong one. Crap. You know something that's weird? I place this on that block, and then I place it again, another one right there. No hitbox. Switch to the axe, is a hitbox. Switch back to the support beam, the hitbox is there. So now I'm prevented kind of from adding more beams because it'll be placing off of that hitbox, right? So the only way I could place those in the same spot is if I never switch to my axe while placing both of them. That is a quirk, right? It's something I kind of just noticed. Bro. Does he think he can hit me through this? Wow, thread the needle. Ow. Hold on. Broad daylight too. You couldn't even wait till night. Come here. Come here. Come here. Come here. Ugh. I don't have time for this. Actually, in like 10 minutes, I'm going to do a Discord live stream. It's Friday. Friday nights at 9 p.m. my time. I try to remember to do a Discord live stream. So if you join my Discord, you can also watch them. You can talk to me and whatever. But I'm going to keep working on this area in that live stream. To try to finish placing the beams and decorating this thing. I'm not going to work on the windmill quite yet. Finish this sucker. If I get to it, I'll place some of these out here. Maybe I'll change the flooring. But yeah, wish me luck. Alright, I did a lot of work. I did a lot of resource gathering. Ran around and grabbed resin and hunted animals to get fat. The leather's done too. I gotta grab that from downstairs. You guys know the deal, so I figured I'd just get it out of the way. But the next thing is flax. We need lots and lots of flax for the windmill. And I was growing some up here, along with some other various crops. So let's go ahead and harvest those really quickly. Oh yeah, rice. I think I already have more rice than I'll ever need, but it is the best grain, so it's nice to have a lot. You know something that I noticed with 122, which is nice, is that you instantly pick up items. Before, there was delay, and I always wondered if that was intentional or if that was not intentional. But like, we pick them up instantly now, and that's very nice, you know? You know what I really like to do is grow pumpkins. I've yet to really try to grow any pumpkins. They're just cool, right? And they remind me of fall. But we don't really get fall over here. Maybe I should just put a trapdoor here. I don't know. Nearly 4 stacks of flax fibers. A large windmill sail is 4 linens and 2 slots, so 8. Then a bunch of wood. I'm not really worried about the wood.
That's just a lot, you know? It's a lot for one guy. It's a lot of cloth. And you know, Sarity wants to add like weaving. I don't know if it would go for flax, but goodness sakes. A loom would be cool. I'd like to see what a loom model would look like in this game, actually. 16. So we can make not much. I mean, I think that translates into 8, right? It's not the best it can be, but you know, it's all right. I guess should I replant now? I'm gonna tell you guys a trick, okay? You know, all the farmland, it says, you know, it has this amount of nitrogen, this amount of potassium. This requires potassium. It's quite low back here, right? We got 35% potassium back here for some reason. Oh, well, it's just because the moisture is low. Anyway, guess what? It'll grow anyways. It'll just, you know, it'll grow eventually. Slowly, perhaps. That's why you gotta water it. But it will grow, and so I'm just gonna plant only flax here. I actually don't know if I have enough flax seeds for this. Nope. Was that all my flax? Huh, it really was. Maybe I'll grow some pineapple. This takes 50 days to grow. It's pretty terrible. But I've never tried it, so let's try it. It takes nitrogen. I went to a pineapple farm once and tried them fresh, you know? And ever since I tried fresh pineapple, it kind of ruined all pineapple for me. It's so different, you know? By the time they ship it all the way north to America, the flavor's quite diminished. I guess that goes for most things. It takes them 2 years to grow. I think that's what it was, 2 years. Also, pineapple plants produce a lot of gases. But the gases, I guess, can be beneficial for growth. So they have pipes running all the way around, like the young pineapple fields and funneling it to the mature pineapple fields, or vice versa. It's something like that. I don't know. Maybe some of you have been on a pineapple farm. I was only there once, and I was how old was I? I think I was 14. Oh look, the last tree grew. It's a little tall. Yeah, that's a little tall. Might need to cut that one down. This is kind of blocking my view of this place, dude. Chop it and try again. In order to try again, I need a seed, and I don't have one on me. Oh yeah, Elkram shed his antlers, and if you can believe it, he actually dropped them. I didn't know that was a thing, because that's never happened before. At least I don't think it has. But literally, he dropped them right in front of me. I was just staring at him. This happened on stream. That was pretty cool. Anyway, I can mount these. Alright, so this is like pretty much done. I think it turned out pretty well. I also did up the floor here using just a mix of blocks, and I think it actually looks quite nice. It needs to be filled. There needs to be stuff here, but I kind of like this mix. It's claystone and granite. Oh, and chert sand. I don't remember why I used that, but it works, I guess. I think here and there I have muddy gravel as well. I don't know, I just kind of used everything in the kitchen sink. And then I finished these little coal bins, or whatever you want to call them. I chiseled the front just a little bit. Like, I made an arch and then I chiseled this. And I think it looks very good. I don't know, it just turned out very well. Then this interior, I did up the roof with maple planks. And then some beams for rafters. And if you use your imagination, you can pretend that the ridges of these chiseled edges are purlins, you know? And then we have ashlar block slabs in the bottom. So we're good to go. Good to hold coal. The only thing that remains is setting up the windmill. And so here's... Look how ugly that looks. That's so weird. Here's my question. Does it actually matter which way the windmill faces? My thought was I'll have it face this direction. I guess it's got the most amount of space here. The windmills, you know, if they get big, they can bump into blocks like this house. There's enough room between the roof of this thing and the tower where I can put it here. So I wonder what would look the best. And I wonder if the direction that it faces matters, because the wind usually kind of comes from one way, but I don't remember which way that was. Look, see the clouds? They're moving to the left. Maybe this is the best way, facing towards the house. That would look terrible, though. So I'm just going to face it that direction. All right. Let's craft these first. Does it not work? Oh, I guess redwood support beams don't count. Oh, I thought they did. We have walnut. No walnut? What am I doing wrong, dude? Do these have to be the same wood type? Yeah, they have to be the same. 2 windmill sails. We have a windmill hub. Next, we're gonna need axles. Okay, get over here. Seems pretty simple enough. Axle, 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 axle. I actually do need a lot of these, and I don't have nearly the amount of fat that I probably need for this. You know, I still can't figure out what the point of a spur gear is. You know, I don't know what it can do. Like, it seems to only have one use. Whereas, like, your normal angled gear, that can do everything, you know? We need at least 2 of these, though. Large wooden gear. We need 4 gear sections, which are very pricey. 1, 2, 3. Not enough sticks. It is kind of nice to have his rack out of my way. Oh. There we go. Silly me, I can't do redwood. Nope, it's gotta be the same. Large wood gear, cool. Even though I really like the look of these little trees here, these little oaks, I'm rethinking it because they kind of do block, you know, your view a little bit. So maybe a fruit tree would just be better. Alright, it's time to put this sucker together. At least the best we can. The hub should be placed here. Is that even facing the right direction though? No, it's not. Can't turn it with a wrench. I think that's correct. I have an axle there. Gotta place a block there before I can put an angled gear there, and then I can remove the block. Axle, axle, axle. Axle, axle. Axle, axle, axle. I don't have enough of these. Axle, axle, axle. Oh, I'm out of fat. Dang it. I wanted to attach this big wood gear down here. But I need to kill more things, I guess. Actually, you know what? This is sitting like this. I almost thinking that I should raise it, you know? I guess it should be a little higher. Yeah. There we go. Just think it looks a little better. Alright, then we have 8 of these, so we just attach them. And it'll start spinning. There we go. 50 knots. Mechanical power output. Not great. The axle's turning. Those are shrimpy little windmill. That's very small. Alright, well that means we need to go hunting some more. My bow broke. I have another bow stave, but I have these 2 spears I've had for a little bit. I saw some deer over here, I think. Let me just wipe them out really quick. I see a guy right there. Oh, I wasn't even aiming for him. Where'd you go, dude? Is he right there? Oh. Yay. I think that's a chital deer. I don't think I'm saying that correctly. You know, in A Breath of the Wild is a game that has really influenced me, I think. There was like a sound meter. Like a meter that told you how much noise you were making. So like if you wore lighter armor, or you sneaked and didn't run, you know, you could, you could sneak up on animals to hunt. You could, sneak up on bad guys, you know. It was helpful. The closer you could get to stuff. It'd be interesting if there was a mod for that in this game. Dang it. I'm gonna hit him with a rock. You can skip rocks, by the way. It's a little buggy, but it works. WYA, huh? There it is. That was it? I'm not expecting a lot of fat from this guy. Yeah, it is a chital deer. Yeah, 1 piece, okay. Great. Hunting's pretty fun. I think it's more fun when you're early game, because it feels like more necessary. Whereas right now I'm just hunting so I can get, you know, fat for my axles. If I had a farm set up, then I would just do that, you know, I would harvest it from my pigs. But I don't have it set up yet. But now that 122's out, there's nothing really stopping me. I guess it depends, you know, there's a lot of things that I could always do. The question is, what would you guys like to see? I had to think, before I started recording this, like what was it going to do for this episode? Because so much stuff got released, right? Dang it. So much new stuff came out. I wasn't sure what to start with. I ended up on forging, because that's pretty cool. And we're going to try other stuff too, don't worry. Dude, I can't see. But is there something you guys would like to see for the next video? There's a lot I could do. I could start the farm. I could build a library. I could build a leatherworking place, a tannery. You know, a bakery, a clothier, whatever. I'd like to have some cool threads. I've actually got a list of buildings I do want to add to the village. Look at that. Pitiful. Just one. I had a town hall idea where one of the roads into town, right here, the town hall would stretch over the road. So you'd go underneath it like a tunnel. And there would also be like a museum in there. I had an idea for a miller for making grains and other stuff. A distillery for making alcohol. A butterfly house. A tea house, because there's a mod for that. Florist. Lots of options. Oh yeah, an apiary. So yeah, if you guys have any ideas, feel free to share them in the comments. What you'd like to see. And before I end this recording, I'm going to do something. We have saltpeter. We have fertilizer. I thought that the flax was going to stretch a little bit longer than it did. But that windmill is going to be very small. Let's water these really quickly. Just make sure they're at 100%. I have compost. We've got saltpeter. Flax takes potassium, and this is 33%. That's pretty poor. Up here, it's a little better, right? So saltpeter restores mostly potassium, whereas fertilizer really does nitrogen. So, well, that's actually compost, not fertilizer. So we're going to help these along a little bit, huh? That's going to add 44%. It's pretty good. Now it's going to add 88. Even all this Terra Preta could use some. Okay, maybe you'll get some of it a little bit quicker. Okay, I've increased the amount of fat and resin I have slightly. This took hours just to hunt for resin. I marked out this entire forest with little resin markers, and they only replenished once, so I don't really know where else to look. Acacia trees can also produce resin, although it seems to be at a much lower rate. Only found about 2 of them. Found one all the way here, found one all the way there. There's some on the other side of this ridge. I don't know, I was just looking an awful lot and killing everything in my path. And you know what, hunting on elk pack is way easier than just kind of throwing a spear, watching it run away, grabbing your spear, throwing it again, watching the thing run away, and just kind of tracking it around and waiting for it to finally die. Anyway, it's raining, the windmill is turning. I added this little roof topper to it. I think it looks pretty cool. I don't know why though, the side of this beam is dark. It's the same here. I don't know what the heck causes that. Yeah, what's that all about, man? So we need a few more axles. I don't actually know how many. I think it's just... What was the recipe again? Let's do 6 for now. And then when I attach these... Look at that. That's going quite fast. It should slow down in a second, though. We want a clutch next. This is a little bit pricier. 1 clutch. And then a transmission. We need an extra angled gear for this. I think that should go there. That should go there. Few axles going there. An angled gear. That just changed its direction. Okay. What? I think it's just trying to figure itself out. That's strange. Seems like it's going pretty fast. Next thing we need is a helve hammer. We're gonna make a steel helve hammer. Requires about 2 steel ingots. A helve hammer base. Can make that right now. It's a lot of crafting. Thank goodness for this, this handbook. I like how much information is available in it versus the Minecraft handbook. But the one advantage that I would say that Minecraft's crafting book has
is that you can just click it and it'll arrange everything for you. Maybe the recipes in Vintage Story are too complex to be able to do that at will. We also need a toggle. I think the toggle goes there. The Hellhammer base goes there. When I engage the clutch, that'll start to spin. Pretty cool, huh? I went to a shop like this before in real life. An old-fashioned, it was watermill powered, but it was an entire like woodworking shop. The bandsaw, the circular saws, everything ran off of a water wheel. It was really quite impressive. Okay, looks like we got some stuff in here. My chisel's also getting low. That'll be good for now. I forgot to put a block underneath here. Okay. Here. Aged claystone ashlar blocks. Perfect. I had to get those from ruins. I think you know the deal with this by now. I am kind of wondering about the grindstone, right? The grindstone is new. It's interesting, you can only make it out of sedimentary rock. But you can make this grinding wheel out of it. It's used to sharpen, slashing, and piercing weapons and tools, imparting a temporary power bonus. Temporary. Many types of stone can be used to make grindstones, with some providing a sharper edge than others. That's interesting. But the grinding wheel doesn't look like it looks like there's only one kind of it. Anyway, this has to be powered also by a windmill, so I could place it right here, but it would be slowing down the Hellhammer. Ideally, I'd work out some kind of junction, maybe like right here, another clutch and transmission, and then the grinding wheel. Not a lot of room for it, you know. Alright, first I'm just going to make this chisel. They're pretty simple. Forging a chisel is mostly just removing voxels. I've heard people complain that like, oh, we're wasting material when we're kind of like hammering these shapes out. But you realize we're not actually wasting material, right? That's just a display of how this works. If I were to like shatter this and break it up into steel, I think I would get 20 steel bits. Oop, too hot to craft. Okay. A medium temporal storm is approaching. Perfect timing. Am I wrong, or do ingots cool down faster in this forge than they would in my inventory? Like, if I just held on to them, I feel like they would have retained the temperature for longer. Am I crazy? Am I wackadoodle? Huh? You can tell me. Hell of Hammerhead requires 2 steel. Pretty straightforward. I think we can quench this thing, because look, there's no quenching temperature. Can I just throw it in the pond? Yay. It's interesting that that chisel, when we put it in a crafting slot, it said too hot to craft. Now that's never been a thing. You used to be able to just craft freshly smith like pickaxe heads or whatever with a stick to get your pickaxe. And the temperature would have been forgotten about. But now I guess that's not the case anymore. Look at this thing. How cool would this be if you could just use this as a weapon? That's huge, man. It reminds me of, there was a movie, Standing Tall, or Walking Tall, or whatever it is, with Dwayne Johnson when he was kind of new to acting. And, like, this casino ripped him off or, like, hurt his brother or something like that, so he's gonna go in and, with a shotgun, and bust up the casino. But at the last minute, he decides to put the shotgun down, and he grabs just a 2x4, and then he just smashes everything in there with a 2x4 instead, so he doesn't kill anybody. I don't know. This just made me think of that. I only saw pieces of the movie, to be honest. Okay. We have a little leftover iron blooms. Let's test these out. And you know, our leather should be ready by now. We can make better bellows. Let's see how fast this sucker can spin. Just give it a second. Just... Come on. Dude, are you serious? Why'd it stop? What? Hold on. I think I can just like look at this and get a reading. 50 knot sail power output. How much power do half hammers need? Why isn't this working, man? Okay, yeah, I guess 8 sails on a heavy windmill is still not enough to power this thing. Maybe I have too many axles. Like each axle, I think, subtracts, you know, a certain amount of power. And we do have a lot of axles to carry the power all the way down here. So we need more flax. Gonna have to worry about this one later. To get more flax, that's, look up here, okay? This is about as much as it's grown. Well, we're in stage 3 in some spots. A little slower over here. The fertilizer is starting to kick in a little bit, but... So the best fertilizer for flax, I guess, is not necessarily saltpeter, which we used. It's, I think, potash, or potash, or, you know, whatever. Potash requires powdered sylvite, and sylvite, I actually don't know. I mean, we find this in halite, I guess, and I've never found halite one time. So I've certainly never found sylvite. Halite is like salt. I don't really know how that stacks up to real life. I don't know how sylvite stacks up to real life either. So we can get more saltpeter. If you remember in the beginning of the video, when I was in that cave, I think there was a pretty, like, saltpetery section of that. We could go back down there and get more, fuel our crops, right? But this is going to take a while. That temporal storm is on its way. So I don't want to make that same mistake again. I almost did, but I just remembered it. This is like one of the few things that we're waiting on. But I guess... there's a few more things we can do while we wait. Alright, let's go see if we can get some saltpeter. And I thought, you know, while we're at it, why don't we try to patch up that translocator that we found? I've got some temp gears and some other stuff, so it should be fine. I believe it was straight down here. I didn't bring any ladders. That was kind of foolish. Ta-da! Saltpeter. Oh, there you guys are. Jeez. Whoa. Whoa! Ripped to pieces, my gosh. Alright, we're doing this again. Okay. Look, there's a little more saltpeter back here. You know this blue glow that you get when you die? I mentioned it, I think, earlier in the video, but while I was, you know, cooking, I think, fat outside, it was night, and then suddenly there was this, crap. There was this blue, like, flicker of light. And, you know, I hadn't died in a long time, so I guess my assumption was that it was just like a lighting error, like maybe the lighting was updating or something like that. There was this, but yeah, there was this blue flicker of light. It was nighttime, and like this blue light came on, and then I kind of had this this vision or this idea, like it just came to my mind. I don't know, of like this like gear themed angel figure thing, and this gear themed angel figure thing would appear like behind the player, and you would know because you would see the light, and as soon as you turn around to get a look at it, it would just disappear. And maybe seeing this figure would be like a good omen, or it would leave a gift, or it would be a warning, you know? I actually went to like... Oh! He's following me. I actually went to Microsoft Paint and drew it, and it's a miracle because I'm not an artist and I never draw anything. It's pretty terrible drawing, but this is kind of like what came to mind. So is it a character, or would it be a character? I don't really think it's like a person or like an actor, you know, on its own will. I think it's, maybe it's more like a machine or something like that, or a machine with the soul, who knows? And it senses the main character and like appears to it. I don't know. I feel like that could fit in with the lore somehow. But yeah, I just had that idea. It's kind of strange. There's a lot of saltpeter here. That's all of it, right? That's a lot. There should be plenty for our flax crops. Now, let's go see what the deal is with that translocator. Oh, alright. It's too bad I can't, like, hit them from here. Ah. Oh, I didn't mean to throw all of them. Holy smokes. Come on. That's a Nightmare Drifter. It's all good, though. Okay. Nice. This is how far I got when I was mining before. I ran into this pentlandite vein and I had to drop some stuff. But I will take it back now. Okay, let's check this thing out. Ooh, 8 gears. Tuning cylinder. I've never played one of these before. Some seeds of stuff I already have. There we go. Now it works. We're already, like, quite far from home. Actually, very far. Home is all the way over here. 985, 3100. We're very far. So I wonder how far this will take us. Maybe it'll take us closer, huh? Ooh, peridotite. Wait a minute. Where are we? Oh, huh. Yeah, got a little laggy there. Okay, we came from here and went here. So a little bit north. But peridotite's a good sign because I don't know anywhere where there's peridotite. And peridotite often has olivine. Ooh. Olivine can be used to make green glass and strong refractory bricks. Between the last cut and this cut, I took a break and I started constructing these raised garden beds for my mother. I did that for several hours and then I made a burger and then I went back to it for several hours. I got one completely done. I'm gonna build 3. The other 2 are close behind. Mostly done. And I came in, I had cinnamon raisin bread with butter and peppermint tea, just from a bag. I drink bag tea occasionally, though it's been a long time I've had peppermint tea, and I needed it. My sinuses have been going crazy from all the sawdust, you know, so the peppermint tea really helps with allergies. Anyway, what was I saying? Peridotite is really good because I haven't found any near us, and rare minerals can be found in it, but don't just take my word for it. Peridotite rock, first of all, it's green, which is cool. It's a host rock for olivine, which is good for steel making. Cinnabar, I think I could find other places. Peridot, it's some kind of gem, an emerald. I've never found either of those before. Main thing is the olivine, right? You can make green glass from olivine, but if you pulverize it, you can make high-tier refractory bricks. I think that's it. Let's take a sample of the cave here. I never know how to edit these. Alright, decent sphalerite, that's zinc. Poor pentlandite. Very poor cassiterite, very poor halite. Where have I found halite? I feel like I haven't found that before. Malachite, alum, and borax. Cool. Oh, it's a locust. Hey, buddy. These guys are weaker versions. Ow. Ow. Ooh. See, I say that. Ooh, that is... Nah, it's gonna be a tough one. And then quickly craft some ladders. Let's just see if I can get up there, huh? Oh, excuse me. Yeah. Thankfully, they're kind of weak. Oh, cool. Ooh, olivine. There's like some more over there. Hold on. Wow. Come on. Some of them take a really long time to break. Phew. Oh, there's 2 more. Oh, excuse me. Excuse me. Yes. There's 1 cage down there. That might be the last one. Killing a drifter should restore some of my... Not much. I don't think that did anything either. There's 2 more. You know what else we can find in these locust nests is a little bit of flax. God, I'm so stuffed up. Cool. Oh. Doesn't seem to restore very much. So we have limestone here. Zinc. Cool. I don't think I need zinc. I'd honestly like to get to the surface and see what's up top. Why am I glowing so freaking bright, dude? Why is this glowing so bright? It's weird, dog. I mean, that doesn't seem correct at all. It's like blinding me. That is so strange. Hey, look, ruins. I see you hiding there. Look, that's normal. When I hold it, it's super bright now. That is really strange. Can we find anything good in here? Aged oak log. That's good. Ooh. Hey. Wait a minute. Look here. See that ridge? Is this one of those new dungeons? Nah. Well, I don't know, actually. That's quite the find if it is. I think it might be. I'm gonna take this aged log. You better believe it. I'm gonna relog and see if that fixes the torch thing. This still seems to like make the ground glow way more than it should. I don't know, am I crazy? What's in here, huh? Ooh, it's one of these fancy storage vessels and some halite stones. Cool. Nothing good in here. I was not planning on doing this, but it's, you know what? It's fine. So those stairs lead up here, these stairs lead up here, and then there's this downstairs. So maybe this isn't a dungeon? Yeah, maybe not. Maybe this is just an extra large ruin and I got lucky. I mean, that's fine. Wait. My temporal stability is at 35%. When I kill him, it's at 36. Hooray! There's all the dead locusts. We're probably still pretty far from the surface. And so we dig. Might be digging for a while. Oh. As I say that.
Not a bad turn of events. Hooray! Hey, I think this is the new sheep variant. Whoa, alright, buddy. Alright, buddy. And come all the way here to get killed by a sheep. I actually don't have any room for this. I'll take the fat. Now there's a mouflon sheep. My temp stability's still going down. Maybe it'd be better if I run over here. Look at that hill. We are far from home. Look, it's still draining. How far do I have to go? This whole area is unstable. The world is starting to flicker. Wait. There it goes. Finally, it's turning back the other way. I had to walk all the way across the desert to here. What gives, dude? Or there are a bunch of ruins there. I really wanted to see what they were. I had thought I saw another giant foot statue. Look over there. There's some kind of dark something. Maybe that's slate? Maybe that's basalt. I wonder if I could call Elkrum to me all the way over here. Probably not. Travertine. That's new, right? Travertine's a new rock type. Travertine rock occurs in limestone rock. You can make tiles and ashlar blocks. It's just a weird looking white stone. You can make these travertine tiles. The only thing the tiles can be turned into is tile blocks. I mean, they're not bad looking. What about travertine stone? Not really good for anything. Huh. My tempo stability is going down again. And you know, I don't like have a ton of room in here. I don't even know if this stuff is rare. I've got to set down one thing. Well, there we go. We got it. I mean, is this like exceedingly rare? Because it doesn't seem to be a whole lot of it. Kind of making a mess here. Guess I'll just mark this spot. I should be taking samples. Nothing crazy. I don't think I see any more of that rock. Just cracked limestone. So what kind of rock is this? Is it shale? No, it's basalt. Look at that. So boom, there's a place right here where I can mine basalt on the surface. It's very far away. It's very far away. I have to go past the other basalt patch to get here, but that basalt patch was almost gone anyways. What a find. I didn't expect to do any of this. You know, something else I guess I should think about. Supposedly, well, not supposedly, there's two new crop types, and they're used to make good fishing bait. It's fennel and licorice, so I guess I should keep an eye open for that. What do they look like? This is what fennel looks like. This is what licorice looks like. Bushes, I guess. So I guess keep an eye out for uniquely shaped bushes, I don't know. Still haven't seen any more travertine. Those bright bushes over there. Let me just look at them. They might be berry bushes, but let me just look. They are. Now I'm getting paranoid. Can't surprise me. Age-polished limestone rock. This is good rock to build with. All of this is a huge city here. 2 trunkless legs of stone. It's like an old statue.
This is a seed vessel. Maybe we'll find something good. Rye. Don't need that. I think usually like underneath these, there's like a room with some pots and like some rare vases. I'm not gonna worry about it. Hey, look at that. Something glowing. Blackcurrant bush. Hey, look, fennel. What do I drop now? Oh, I can craft this flax. There we go. No. It's too close to the trader hut. Are you kidding me? Dude, you greedy son of a crack. Those are the only 2 fennel plants. And they're right here. I should have known that was going to happen. Are you kidding me? How ironic. Do I see some over there? You know, maybe these aren't rare, right? Dang it. Fine, whatever. Hey, cheapo. Quill. Nice mask, Quill. Well, I can buy a bunch of stuff I don't really need. The cheese is nice. It's 8 gears, though. I can sell age crates. If I were still collecting those, I'd maybe make some good money. Nothing really worth buying. Maybe the beeswax. Can I use your bed? Aha! Oh. Dude, my sinuses are killing me. I don't know if you can hear it in my voice. I'm having like serious frame drops over there. Good golly. Just looking in the general direction really changes a lot. Is it the rays? Might be the rays. Yeah. You know, this is it's interesting land. I gotta get back though. And my sinuses are really killing me. And I know I'm gonna be searching for that hole that I made for a while. Alright, I guess let's put this saltpeter to use. I mean, this is a crap ton of it. Flax is about halfway there. The pineapple, I mean, I don't really need to give that any. With double dosing over here, this stuff is gonna be jumping up and down, folding over in half. It's gonna think it can cure cancer when we're done with it. Don't forget the water. I made some ginger tea. I put a little lemon drop in it. Drop of lemon juice, not lemon drop the candy. That really helps. I mean, you have no idea the relief it gives me. I have really crappy sinuses because I have a deviated septum. I have a deviated septum because when I was young, my brother dropped a 2-pound dumbbell on my face, just like I was laying down trying to sleep on the floor. And he dropped a 2-pound dumbbell on my face. And it broke my nose. I didn't know it broke my nose. I kind of just lived with my whole life not knowing it was broken until I got an x-ray. And then I guess it grew really crooked and wrong. And then I have a deviated septum, so I can only breathe out of one nostril at a time. And I have horrible, horrible allergies. Let's find a short one. What happens if I just dope this up with tons of saltpeter? Oh, it caps out at 150. Okay. There's a few other things we can do. This leather's done. I keep forgetting to like grab this. We have 12 leather, hooray. So one thing I wanted to make was a new bow, and I carried this with me into the cave because I didn't think I was going to go on an expedition of any kind. This is a recurve bow, and they do a little bit more damage than a long bow. They don't last as long, though. Whatever. What kind of accuracy do you get from a longbow? Only 20% accuracy, 3.75% piercing damage. Recurve bow you make with meat, like some kind of freak. It's more accurate, it's more damage, the durability isn't quite the same. I guess that's pretty similar to real life. I have a little bit of bushmeat. I think that the common conception of longbows is that they can shoot for long distances, but really they're not much better than other kinds of bows. They're kind of bulky and big, and they don't really give you that much power. We needed a piece of leather for this. We need bones for some reason. Everybody knows the best bows have wild game meat infused into them. I mean, I think that this is a primitive way to oil it, maybe. I don't know. Alright. Look at that.
Do I like this better? I feel like with the other bow, I held it with my left hand and draw it back with my right. Interesting. Well, I could put the spears away. How do I make the small bellows? 3 boards, 3 nails and strips, 6 leather. It's nice we can just stack it like that. Yay! I can put up this storage vessel, which is very pretty. I don't really know where. I'll put it on display. Ooh! Cool. Back here, I can replace this old thing. This thing works infinitely, right? So, no point in keeping the crude hide bellows. Crude hide bellows. Much nicer looking. Here's what else we can try. If I take 3 rope, 3 sticks, I can make a fishing rod, and then if I knife up one of the sticks, I get a worm grunting stick. Now this lake down here, I'm pretty sure is completely devoid of fish, and that's because when I rewrite the world like I did in the beginning of the video, it doesn't write new animal maps, which are what determines what kind of creatures can spawn where. So there should have been fish maps, I guess, written for this lake, like if it had been generated in 1.22, and it wasn't. And pruning the chunks does not rewrite those maps. That's a totally separate thing. But there is a solution. There's a mod called Fish and Fix mod. Supposedly, I enable the mod, I look at a lake, I enter a command, and then the lake will have the fish maps written for it. So let's try it. Alright, I've made a backup just in case. So I think I just need to jump in the lake. And, you know, we're almost to the center. It's like roughly the center of the lake. We type fish map fix. Added 9 fish mapped, stocked 177 fish map cells, radius 64 blocks. What is a fish map cells? For a second I was reading that, I was thinking that it stocked 177 fish in here and I was excited, you know? So I think over time, fish will spawn in this lake. Probably not right away. Let's try this one over here. This is a little one. Added 0 fish map, 73 fish map cells. Alright then. Yeah, I don't know. We'll figure it out if it worked in a second. So I put the stick in my offhand. If you haven't seen how this works yet, you just point at the ground and scrape your worm grunt stick. And this is a real life trick that supposedly brings worms to the surface. Look, we just got one. Nice. I was told that the worm grunting stick, look at this guy, it's a fully formed entity and everything. Look at that guy crawling. The sound this thing makes mimics the sound of rain for worms, you know, it's kind of already raining. And that causes the worms to surface. And so I was told many reasons why that was by many different people. Some people said it was because the water, you know, could drown the worms. And if they can breathe underground, like certainly they can breathe in wet underground, but maybe not. Maybe that's why. The other reason is that, like, if the ground is wet, then they can go up under the surface without drying out, and they move much better on the surface, so it's like they get a speed boost. And I heard other reasons, but I don't really remember. Oh wait, yeah, some people said that the grunting stick is not mimicking the sound of rain to the worms. The vibrations it creates sound like the vibrations that moles make. And so the worms surface to escape the predator moles, who I guess completely lose their predation ability above ground, maybe? I don't know, anyway. Well, we got 7. You just watch, alright? And we've got a worm on the line. I realize I left my armor on. And there we go. Usually fishing doesn't like take too long, so I guess we'll find out pretty quick if this is working or not. Hey! Nice! Dead shad. It worked. Let's try it again. Wow, that was fast. Dead chub. Nice. We're not gonna get very good fish from this lake. It just got its fish maps, and so I guess it needs like time to replenish its populations. And when the population is really, really low, you just catch these kind of guys that give 1 fish fillet if you fillet them. And I can fillet them, or I can cook them whole on a spit. And I'm gonna cook them whole because I think that's cool. But I'm gonna use up the rest of the bait first. Another dead shad in the pond. I'm not gonna do it, but it would be funny. Wait, maybe if I did do it, fish would spawn there eventually. This is kind of a way, I guess, to make fishing not too overpowered. You can overfish a lake. If you fish too much, you know, the fish population will deplete. Maybe eventually you won't be able to get anything. So it's maybe a good early game resource, but not always. I think though that oceans pretty much always have good fish. Now if we had fennel or licorice root, neither of which we have, we can make better bait. We could combine it with like meat or dough or whatever, and we can make stink bait. Not having much luck here. Too small, I think. What the heck is stink bait? This is stink bait. So you can make stink bait out of fish meat, fennel or licorice root, and then water. You cook it all together, and then you get this bait which is highly attractive to fish. You can make it out of meat, any kind of meat, dough. This survival book entry is new. You can also use raw meats and smaller fish. You can even use no bait at all, but it will take a very long time to catch fish that way. I didn't know this. Let's try it. Let's use one of our dead shads. This is a lot more interesting than I thought it would be. I thought it was just worms and stink bait, and that's it. I didn't know you could use other fish. What do we get for that? Dead northern pike. That's going on my dating profile right there. That's funny, you can just trade. You can just trade up. It's like the guy who traded a paperclip for a house or whatever. You know that story everybody talks about? That whole thing was a publicity stunt. That entire thing. Wow. That's a monster. This was just a kid. That one's going on my dating profile. Look at that guy, huh? Can I put the juvenile pike on here? I can. Okay. I didn't know you could manipulate the market in this way. Wow, I caught an adult pike immediately. That could have been his father. Okay, let's use up the worm at least. Just a little chub. Let's trade up. I wonder if fishing is faster when it's raining. It is that way in Minecraft. We got another northern pike. Do I dare? Nope. Can't put a pike on there. Low pike? You would think we wouldn't be catching so much pike in this climate, or at least northern pike, you know? Let's try over here again, the big lake. I caught another northern pike with a northern pike. Well, that's just cannibalism. They're both juveniles, too. Boom. You're scaring the fish away. Did I just get a stick? So you can take these fish and you can just cook them like this on a spit. Tail's getting into the fire there. The other thing you can do is... Oh, we don't have a lot of room here, do we? You can gut it when you place it on the ground. And by doing that, you're going to get fillets. We got 7 from that. Holy smokes. I've never gotten that many. And then, like, you could cook with this. You can make a meal with it. Crocs, whatever. And then store them away for winter. There's so many ways for me to get food. I mean, I don't need to really worry about food preservation, which is a shame because that's kind of fun. But I guess it's part of living in the South. Everything is just easier. You just have food whenever you want. I check in on our crops. Still at stage 4. I'm gonna water these real quick. This really does take a little while. It's taking forever to cook. Oh, animals. I think the only thing I'm missing is a rabbit, because they all got struck by lightning a while ago. I have 1 rabbit in there. I need another. Wow, 5 minutes on this fish being cooked. Maybe it's because the fire needed to heat up the entire stack first. Large cooked fish. This is too large to fit in a cooking pot. So this restores 700 saturation. Now, the raw fish, when we cook it, it'll give us 100 saturation. So it's the same. It's not any different. This will give us 700. We have 7 of them when cooked, and this will give us 700. I wonder if slightly smaller fish, oh, he's worshipping, can give you like less amounts of fillets, but still give you a large cooked fish. Maybe some fish are better to be cooked whole than to be filleted. But again, the reason to fillet it is so you can make it into a proper meal in a cooking pot. Alright, while we wait for that flax, let's do the interior of this building. Or at least, let me try. First, let's make some doors. I wanted to grab some cobblestone for this, and that's dry stone, but it's okay, I guess. So now we have a pretty flush interior. Here's my thought, okay? I think you would have like a patron's desk in this corner. Behind him are shelves, and then around this side, there's stairs you can go up. Or maybe the stairs need to be behind the patron's desk. Yeah, probably. I would think the upstairs is like off limits. It's just 4. So like that should be good. There's our stairs up. Maybe it would be interesting if there was like a false wall here. Yeah, I'm gonna do that. I'll put a false wall like right here. But I'm not gonna do just that actually. What I should do, start with some ashlar. I'm just gonna fill the inside with dirt. So look, here's our wall, but I can chisel these. And then I can add in oak. You know, these textures don't match very well because these are chiseled and these aren't. But if I right-click these, now they are better matching. But look, now these stairs are just a little bit wider. And we have this little wall here. Let me just add cobblestone to this. There you go. Pretty nice, huh? So we've got a flat wall on this side. Let me just finish adding in like a roof. I'll probably add beams in a second. Oh, I feel like the owner's desk should be made of maple because it's a little richer. I've got some maple over here. Not much. Truthfully, I don't know what this will look like as a desk. Rather it attached there. Pretty sure I can... There we go. kind of thought about putting like a little loopy pattern here. That looks kind of ugly though. I don't know, that's some kind of desk, right? Is it bad? I don't know, is it? Now this side. Okay, after spending way too long on that, I guess I'll shave down the inside. Just so there's a little more room behind the counter. So here's what I really wanted to do. I talked about shelves, but I really would rather try the new cabinets. These are a big deal. I guess I'll make maple cabinets. They're a little pricey, but they're worth it, I think. So you can make cabinets with this top trim, you can make the same ones with bottom trim, and then you can make them with no trim. So I'm going to make one of each right now. Here's how we do this. So this arrangement, we can make a top one, and if I move all these to the middle, I'll make a middle section, and you guessed it, if I move them to the bottom, we'll get a bottom section. So I'm going to put this in the middle. We can turn them, right? I don't know. Look at that. That is gorgeous. That's a nice looking piece of furniture. So we can put anything we would ever want on here. It's pretty dynamic, as you can see. It'll turn red if it's like not enough room, but we can put anything on here, and then I think with the wrench we can turn it, you know, any way we want. A little silly when you think about it, but it's still cool. Like using a wrench to position something on a cabinet, but it makes sense. So yeah, they can hold anything. They're pretty much like real life cabinets. It's awesome. Now you can also make cabinet doors. So you make glass ones, and then you can make just regular ones. So I think the bottom one should have solid cabinet door. Now they're also expensive. Like these cabinets, you can't just make them flippantly, right? They each require nails and strips. Same with the doors. So how do I put those on? Maybe I break it. I've seen... Okay, yeah. Hold control. Boom. That's pretty freaking nice, dude. Now these are already pretty insanely customizable, and I know this is a big ask, but it'd be cool if you could make double wide cabinets. I mean, I guess you technically can. What's interesting is that the trim of this bottom cabinet stretches over into the next block. Let's make some more. We're gonna do it same as before. So if I place... I guess it looks like an extra wide cabinet. Huh. That is a cool spot for one, in my opinion. Now, I don't think we can make a single cabinet. Oh, wait, yeah, look at that, we can. If you do it sideways, you get the top and bottom trim on one piece. Okay, so if I put that one there, can I turn them? No, I can't turn them. That would be like too much. We only have one of these left, actually. Make another pair of doors. So you have to hit the side with control. So this one looks a little separate. I wanted to do glass ones, but I just don't have the nails and strips for it. I have to make more. But I was thinking, why don't I get a pot? I know I've got a nice looking one somewhere. Which one looks better? Tan one? I think the white one looks better in this case, but I mean, you could have any one, really. We don't have any flowers for it. Let me do a black one. Whoa. Lightning's cool in this game. You know, in Minecraft, you can just see pretty much forever at dark. Like, darkness is not dark in Minecraft. It is in Vintage Story. You can't see a dang thing on some nights. So it's cool, like when the lightning does come, you can see everything. It's like real life. What flower would best go in the flower pot? Now we can also do seeds. We have a little Mediterranean cypress. Kind of wonder what that would look like. I got a dentist appointment in an hour. Will this work? I was told you could put saplings in here. Wait a minute. Sapling. Maybe it needs to grow first. That would make a lot of sense. Yeah. It's a little silly looking. But yeah, there it is. So maybe when this sprouts in a day, I'll switch them out. Saying upstairs, you'd have like storage, piles of ingots, maybe this guy's bedroom. Maybe he lives here, you know? I brought some cool like lore stuff I've randomly found here that we can put in the cabinets. Ooh. Oh, this doesn't fit in any of them. That's a shame. It's too tall. I have 4 candles, so I can make 4 more lanterns. And being a blacksmith is a big deal. You can make a lot of stuff. I think like here you'd have racks of tools, or maybe you'd have it on this wall or something like that. And then maybe here you'd have mannequins for armor sets. Or maybe tools on this side, or paintings and, you know, like a planter or something like that. We've got a lot of paintings in this place that like don't necessarily fit. So maybe I'll borrow 1 or 2. Move them into here. I kind of wish I had a bigger one, you know? Could I put the maple sapling in there? Dang, look at that thing. Beefy. Wow. That's pretty cool. Maybe I'll have the cypress in here, and then I'll put a flower in there, an actual flower. You know, I'm sure that there's like a flower out here I can grab. Wow. So close. Okay. Golden poppy. And back here, 2 mannequins. Maybe some shelves behind them. I don't know. Wonder if you could put mushrooms in flower pots. Trying to think about stuff that would be cool to display. Maybe, ooh, the silver bracelet, bronze bracelet. I have all these, like, lore items. Crystal skull. I'll save that for the museum. I've been saving this cool, like, ore pieces here for displaying. We have a diamond, a little bit of gold, a little bit of silver. Silver ingots. Oh, hey. It's not letting me place it, even though there's room. I wonder if that is because it thinks I'm trying to equip it at the same time. That's odd that it does create the hitbox, you know, but it doesn't let me place it. I can't even put it on the ground. That's so weird. Huh. It's a bug, maybe? That's too bad. I wanted to place those. Well, we can stick with these. They look pretty cool. There's just random stuff on here. Look, a diamond. Ooh. I want to try something. I have a feeling that we could use the Hellhammer right now if I really wanted to. I bet you I could. I think all I would need to do is switch these out. Yep. There you go. Been trying to think about this, like why this works and the other thing doesn't, and I guess it's just too much strain to put on the wood gear. Like this would be spinning way too fast, and it doesn't have the power for that. But it does have the power for this kind of consistent hitting, which is actually already a pretty good speed. So ta-da, it works. I still want to get more flax on there though, because maybe we will be able to use the giant gear, but not right now. No, it'd be cool. It'd be pretty cool to make some special lanterns. Maybe some silver ones. I have so much silver, maybe a gold one, maybe an electrum one. Now, I've got a crucible over here. Yep, tan ceramic crucible. Look, it's slowed down a lot. Let's see, I want to make 4. What is electrum anyways? Looks like it's pretty much half and half. It's a pretty cool color. We can make large gold lanterns. We can also make these small lanterns. Now these cost, I think, the exact same amount. as lanterns previously did. They just give off a little bit less light. So, the new large lanterns require, look at that, nails and strips. And a lot, too. And it has to be the same material. It has to be gold as well. Let's have some fun, okay? Let's make some silver lanterns. Since this is the worst coal type, I'll put some back here. That is weird. Why does it look like there's a rock appearing on them? You see that, right? Oh yeah, I forgot I wanted to make tool racks. Should I put them there? I should put them there. Tools for sale. Wait. Oh, I need I need to pour these in molds. I don't know what I was thinking. Hold on. I left all my molds over here, but I mean, realistically, I should be keeping them in that place, right? Grab some tools too. Oh no! It has to heat back up now. Shoot. Good thing the fire was still going. I didn't make enough. Whoops, I didn't calculate that correctly at all. Yeah, whatever. It's fine. The rest of these, I don't really know where they should go. Go in there for now, though. Let's hang up some of our cool tools. There you go. These things cool down fast. I'm kind of realizing that I'm just not going to be able to get to everything in this video that I wanted to. I wanted to get a pulverizer going and a water wheel and stuff. But like, that's kind of a lot to ask. I wanted that so I could make the cementation furnace. I wanted to make a coke oven here. I wanted a charcoal pit. I don't know if I'll do that. We'll see. This is almost done. But for now, let's just make some beautiful silver lanterns. Oh yeah, and we can spam this thing now because it won't break. The only thing we have to worry about is that it consumes fuel a little bit faster. I don't know if I mentioned this earlier, but there are large bellows. They're not currently craftable. Look, this caps out at 891. They're not currently craftable, but saw some cool stuff in the works on the Vintage Story Discord channel that showed that the large bellows could be pumped mechanically, like with a windmill or a water mill. And so it was just pumping like crazy, you know? It was really cool. All right. Wow, it chose right now to be this slow. Come on, buddy. Come on, buddy. Come on, buddy. Come on, buddy. Look, if you pump it really hard and consistently, it seems to get even higher than 891. But if you take breaks, it starts to max out. Hey, look, silver plate's done. Here's the thing about a gold lantern. These look pretty cool. This is exactly the same cost as what these used to be. Now these are large lanterns, and they're more expensive. But it's still like, there's some disconnect for me because I have a bunch of those large lanterns because I crafted them before. I should have crafted way more, you know? I should have spammed them out, you know? That would have been smart. Then I would have had a bunch of suddenly rare lanterns. So it's kind of a disconnect. It's like, spend the extra effort to make those, which it would be a lot of extra effort, and not necessarily worth it. Because it only shines, I think, 2 blocks brighter than a small lantern. You can add gold, silver, or electrum lining to your lanterns, any lantern. And doing that will increase its reach by 2 blocks. Increases its radius by 2. And that's well and good. But the only difference between a small and a large lantern's radius is 2. So theoretically, if you had a small lantern, you added a gold plate to it or whatever, it would increase it by 2, and it would be just as strong as a large lantern which is way more expensive to make than just a small lantern and a silver plate. Or maybe not. I guess it depends what you have. I don't know if what I'm saying makes sense. Still too hot to craft? Yep. Gotta get some glass anyways. Yeah. There we go. I dunk them in the water. There we go. 2 silver lanterns. These look way different than the other lanterns. But dang, they're cool, man. Look how cool that is. That looks pretty freaking nice. Can I put one on Elcrum's neck? He should have. I mean, he had a lantern on his neck. You know what? I didn't see it though. Huh. That's weird. Can you not put the large ones on there now? No way. I didn't even notice that. Yeah, you can't. So I guess this is yours now. Here, let me switch these ones out. So I guess when they switched them out, only the small ones can now be carried on the elk. And because of that, the large lantern wasn't even like a rendering on his model, and I didn't even notice till when I tried to take it off. Look at this though. It's off-center. Like this is the center of his model, and look, the lantern's off-center. But you know what else is off-center? This hitbox right here for his neck. That's totally off-center. So that's off-center to the right. The lantern's off-center to the left. Opposite, I guess, from his point of view. Dude, it's rock. It doesn't taste like anything. He was licking it like a weirdo. Interesting guy. Yeah. Does it taste good, buddy? Does it taste good? Look, here's what I think. This recording is an hour long. Like this clip I've just taken. I need to end the video. We've done a lot. I think that we've done a lot of stuff. Here's what I'm going to do. I'm just going to keep working. I'll do my thing. I'll decorate. Maybe I'll add the coke ovens, whatever. And then when that flax is finally ready, we'll expand the windmill. Maybe we'll try out an iron bloom, and then we'll call it there. Sound good? All right, everybody, we're looking at a full field, actually 2 full fields of flax, finally. I did a lot of busy work, and then the last week, I just was kind of spamming the bed. If you wait a certain amount of time, you can just kind of sleep over and over again, and that's kind of what I was doing. I'm pretty sure this is all grown. I don't think any of them fell through the cracks. Yeah, we should be good. All right, let's see what we got. These pineapples are not even halfway done. How much nutrition does a pineapple give? Pineapple slices. Each one gives 80 saturation, and you get 12 from 1 pineapple. Huh. How's that to compare to a staple such as the onion? You know, that's 100 saturation. Or apple, right? 80, same as a pineapple. Yeah, I don't know. Each plant gives you 12. I mean, I guess it's not terrible, but there's just so many better methods of getting fruit, you know? No way this spelt grain is going bad. I've never seen grain go bad. That's a first. Let's put all this useless flax grain away. Alright. Here's where we see how many large windmill sails we'll actually be able to get. 23 linen. That's... Man, if only we had one more that could make another set. Okay, here we go. By the way, this place got struck by lightning again, killed all my chickens and my rabbits. That is not an animal. You can make lightning rods. That's a thing you can do. I don't know, am I lazy? I feel like I'm the opposite of lazy when it comes to video games. I'm just lazy with everything else. That tree grew again, and I'm thinking that I want to chop them all down. Because it's just obstructive, you know? You can't see. So maybe I just need to replace these with flower gardens or those Mediterranean trees that are just spikes. Fruit trees I feel like would even break it up too much. Alright, so look, back here, I've put these down. This is going to be the coke oven, this is going to be the charcoal oven, this is going to be the steel oven, but I don't have all the materials necessary for that. That's okay.
This is a little bit more of an expanded setup of stuff. I used chert rock because I had it and it's unique, but I honestly wish that I had done granite or something. I just didn't have any on hand. I put a ladder on this guy so we could reach it easily. Let's make our sails. And that's as far as we can go. Only 2 more sets. I hope this is worth it, because that was a long time to wait. I mean, it was a really long time to wait, actually. What a sails power output of 50 knots. Now it's 75. And now it's 100. It should be more than enough to power this thing pretty strongly. To be honest, it's not like a lot of an increase, but let's see. Okay, because there's a difference between torque and speed, and I don't really fully understand that difference. But let's try making alterations. I don't know how well this is going to work. Big gear, spinning pretty fast. Oop. And let's switch directions. Okay, there we go. Cool. So how fast is this thing clang now? Ugh, okay. I literally doubled the power of the sails. That's still not enough. Are you kidding me? Seems to barely have made a difference. Maybe, I mean, I feel like it's a decently windy day. 50% wind speed? I don't know. Good to know. At least maybe this will be going a little bit faster than before. Also, look. Brown coal, black coal. That's what we got. And I've also put in some brass torch holders, which are about the same price as a lantern. I don't really know what light they give off comparatively to a small lantern. I can't remember if it's 18. I feel like it's 18 or 16. No, it's 14. Sorry, because a torch is 14. Still, it's better than nothing. In here, I got some more of these. I guess they're just on display, so you can buy them. I found out you can stack stuff on top of each other pretty easily. Some brass lanterns, because I had 2 more candles. Some ebony cabinets with glass doors. Same here, glass door. Pretty cool. Let's head upstairs. And there's like not a huge difference up here, but I started moving all my ore and stuff over here. So like galena, copper, malachite, cassiterite, sphalerite, magnetite, and then I think pentlandite's in there, ilmenite, native gold, native silver. I've been hunting rabbits, because you can use rabbit skins to turn into parchment, also raccoons. And you can craft that with a crate, and you can draw like what's in the crate on the parchment. But honestly, it's kind of hard to tell the difference between them like this. Whatever, it's just decorational. I swapped this out with a Mediterranean cypress sapling. It takes on the exact same model, though, so that's interesting. I made a grinding wheel, so I think I can just put that right next to here. Except, I guess that just takes way too much power. Good to know, really. I don't know, the thing is barely turning now. 2% wind speed. This is obviously perfect timing. Okay, well look, I want to try something. Let's use the quenching and tempering system to its max, combined with a grinding wheel and whatever the heck else we can manage. So I learned something about quenching. If you quench your tool head when it's covered in fire clay, it won't increase the power, it'll increase the durability. And then I learned something about tempering. If you temper something after you've quenched it, it'll reduce the chance of it shattering. So that can be pretty important to do. But I think it also slightly reduces its power. Tempering is just heating it all the way up and then letting it cool off naturally. And I guess that lets some of the stress points inside the metal, maybe it alleviates some of that stress, right? Which makes sense. And this is only for iron, steel, and meteoric iron items, or ferrous material, I guess. Wow, this is really just... okay. I needed you. This is the moment I needed you, and what did you decide to do? First thing I really need to make is tongs, because these tongs have 1 durability left on it. You can make steel tongs, I think that would be a good use of it. I'm gonna make a crowbar, which we don't really need, but they're pretty helpful for removing beams. Actually very helpful. A new steel falx, because this thing is getting pretty low, and then another pickaxe, because you can never have too many pickaxes, and I'm gonna try to max out the power that those things give off. I mean, I guess I don't. I was gonna display how this worked on these iron blooms, but whatever. Alright. Let's use some black coal. And a torch is easy to reach in case I don't have them. believe I already mentioned this, but small bellows can be used in a fire pit as well, I think. It's really fascinating how this works. That flap, you can kind of see it moving up and down. When you open this up, it's sucking air in, and that flap opens. But when you're pushing it down, the air pressure closes the flap, so it forces it out this way. Oh, crap. I only have one shot to use my tongs, so I can't put that back on the thing. Alright, guys. I have it in my bare hands. My bare hands. That's... Alright, seems like an oversight. Tongs. Ah, crap. This is the recipe for the new tongs. You can't use the health hammer on anything that's not like a plate or refining an ingot. So we gotta do these tools by hand. Hot pair of tongs. Oh. Crap. Okay. I really have to make another pair of these. Okay. Oh, look. He's getting his horns again. It's August. Really screwed that up. I need to be more careful, I guess. Okay, now we're being extra careful. These tongs, it's not quite within the quenching range. It's a little too high. 1052. I am just gonna... Can I set those down? I can't. Let's make our crowbar. You can also make spears out of steel now. I used to not be able to. That is... God, that is quite the shape. This is gonna be fun. Too cold to work. What about these guys? Well, now it's too cold to quench. It's almost a crowbar. So, because increasing the power of tongs or crowbars is a little silly, in my opinion, we can instead opt to increase the durability. We've got a little fire clay in here, and I think all we've really got to do, right? Okay, no, not that. How do I add fire clay to that? I was told you can just add fire clay right to it. Pretty sure I even remember seeing it in the trailer. I guess I don't. Okay, no. I don't remember how I did that. Quenching can be done with or without a layer of fire clay being added to the item. How? Do I have to like cool these all the way down and then craft it with fire? I bet that's what I gotta do, isn't it? Okay, well, we'll work on these then. I shouldn't have heated them back up, I suppose. Let's make our pick and phalanx. Ah, so close. Steel Falx head. This is within the quench range. Let's try it. And look at that. Power gain 10%. Steel crowbar covered in clay. Okay, yeah, I did have to wait for it to cool down. Well, look, now the steel crowbar is covered in clay. Let's cover the tongs in clay. You can't really see the clay, though. But if we get it up to, what, 850? And quench that sucker, perhaps we can hope to see some kind of increase. Alright. 20% durability. Nice. Put that there for now. This also has, look at that, 20% durability. So there's a 10% quench shattered chance if I were to do that again. But if I wanted to, I could temper it, just get it up to 500 or something. And then I guess let it cool down all the way. I believe tempering doesn't actually carry any risk of breaking it. Okay, we're just above 550. Let that cool, I guess. Do the same with the crowbar. Okay. Looks like this is going decently well now. Let's try out the Iron Bloom. Alright, trade ya. So that's covered in slag. And this should start working on it pretty quick. Still tempering, still tempering. It's gonna take a little while, I guess. Quencher. Our iron bar is also done. Quenched once. I don't think we'll see what kind of power level we get from it until I actually turn it fully into a pickaxe. I guess that's the difference between these two tools and the pickaxe and the falx. You don't need to craft the crowbar or the tongs or the stick to give it a handle. They're already done. So we can kind of see what effect has been given to them without crafting it, like we already get that preview, which is nice. How about now? You tempered yet? It has been tempered. It lowered the shatter chance by 2%. But look, these both have had a power gain of 10%, so let's give them a durability gain. The odds are good, and then maybe after that, we'll temper them. Need a little more fuel. Oop. Don't break. Don't break. Don't break. Okay, cool. Quenched twice. Shatter chance is 15%. That was a durability gain of 16.7. Not bad. Sun's already coming back up. That thing is really going now. Thank goodness. Okay. Don't break. Don't break. Don't break. Don't break. Don't break. Phew. We're not done. Okay. I didn't quite get it down all the way. It looks like it did the exact same thing to the steel falx head. Now let's temper them. So just get them up to 500, which I actually don't need to pump this thing for. Has reached tempering temperature. Set it aside. Same with this guy. That doesn't seem to be cooling down right there. Maybe I'll just keep them both in my inventory. Let's do the last Iron Bloom. So I have a mod, the Meteoric Steel mod, and that lets me make this, and it's just like a little bit stronger than a normal steel falx. I think 0.5 only. So I wonder, this has been quenched twice, power has been increased once, durability has been increased once, and I think that would bring it about to the same exact level that this thing is at. But if I can go further, okay, if I can go even further than that, then maybe we can really get some bang for our buck. I'm pretty sure this doesn't work with the quenching system, the Meteoric Steel. And when I lose all my Meteoric Steel tools, finally, like when I use them all up, I think I'm going to uninstall it. Just because I don't like to kind of be dependent on several different development teams to update my game, right? The less mods, the less things can go wrong. Besides, we have this now. We won't need it, really. I hope you're still spinning fast. Looks like it. These guys are still cooling. Oh no. Okay. Let me help it. Oh, you're really struggling now. Man, that is so temperamental. If I had a water wheel, this wouldn't be an issue. Let's do this one again. Why not? Good job, buddy. You may ask, why don't I just temper this over and over again to get the chance to 0 for shattering? You can't temper it more times than you've quenched it. That is in the rule book. So for every quenching, we can do 1 tempering. So look, our quench shatter chance increased by 5%. But since we've quenched it twice now, we've got a pretty solid durability bonus. That is really good. So I'm going to temper it again. And look at this. This is done tempering. The shatter chance got knocked down to 2%. I could technically temper it again, and I think it would be wise for me to do so. Same with the steel pick head. I guess ideally, back here you would have multiple forges. It's like I'm waiting on one at a time. So if I really wanted to be efficient, I would redo this whole space. All the stuff that needs to be covered by an awning could be under here. I could have multiple forges, campfires, that thing. Then maybe everything else just goes in this empty space right here. Alright. You're temperable, buddy. Actually, you're going to my inventory. Let's quench the crowbar again. Sooner or later, this is going to catch up to us. I forgot to mention here, though, because these have both been tempered once and they're being tempered again right now, the power gain went down by 8% on each. So when they finish tempering this time, so I think they need to get to about 100 C. I wonder how much it'll decrease that time. Probably by... All of these are currently in the process of tempering, ooh, except this one, which now has a quench shatter chance of 10%. Let's keep on racking up that durability, huh? So I think it is wise temper it every single time you quench it, right? It's just smart. But don't temper it the last time, because the last time you don't need to reduce the shatter chance if you're not going to risk it again. There we go. Times quenched 3 times, 51% durability. That's 7,547 uses compared to the wooden tongs 35. I have 1 left on these, so I call it good for that. And it looks like these are both done. Power gain is dipped by 0.7%. Quench shatter chance went down. I forgot what it was at before. I think it was like 15 before, or close to 15, 13. So now we may quench them once again. And I think that'll be the last time for both. So this makes things interesting. If you're in a multiplayer server and your role is a blacksmith, you became even more important. Because now you can really get creative with these, and I think that's really cool. Like, it is kind of a science. It requires a little bit of gut feeling and a little bit of chance and risk taking, but you can make great weapons. You really can, and great tools. So that's super cool in my opinion. Power gain 15%. So it took 3 quenches to increase the durability and power by about 15. Let's turn it into a pick. Wow. Oh hey, we can get a preview of this, if we wanted to, by just putting it in the crafting grid. My current pickaxe was never quenched, never tempered, never nothing. So its stone mining speed in ore and metal, which is what we care about, is 9 times, whereas this is 10.4. That's pretty good. It has 416 extra durability points. I guess it does a little more damage, but I don't really care about that. I'm gonna quench the crowbar one more time. Maybe it would have been more straightforward if I only worked with one thing for you guys. I apologize for that. Alright, don't break. We've been very lucky. So compared to my meteoric steel falx, which again is like a little bit better than a normal steel falx, this is 5.5 damage. This does 6.1. It's 2,479 durability points on that. And this one has more durability potential. Again, it's a modded item, but that's pretty good. This is the last one. Alright, this is the last time we're gambling, though if this breaks, it's not a big deal really. Just a crowbar. Hooray! There you go, cool. 2,717 durability, cool. I guess the last thing I want to do, I want to try out the grinding wheel. So we can sharpen slashing and piercing weapons and tools, giving a temporary power bonus, but I believe it knocks off a little bit of durability. Now here's something interesting that they said, and I think I read this earlier and I never figured it out. Many types of stone can be used to make grindstones, with some providing a sharper edge than others, but it's just odd, right? Because there's 3 different types of grindstones you can make: sandstone, chert, and claystone. And I think I made one out of chert, but they all craft into the same thing, and there's no attributes. So this must not be implemented yet. Different stones having different bonuses. That must not be a thing, which is my guess. Anyway, I could attach the grindstone right here. To attach it to both would kind of be a lot of load. So that's going pretty good. But what happens... what happens if I, you know... Dang, look at that. Don't... Wait. Come on. I wonder if this takes more than a wood axle. That's weird. It's not even turning now. Alright, let's try it out. Sharpened, 10% critical hit chance increase. That took off 70 durability. So why does it say in parentheses next to it 610D? Because we have a special chance of getting a better hit on that thing. That's cool. What about the pickaxe? It says we can do tools. Okay, I guess not. Let's do my old falx. Oh, it works. That's cool. That shaved it down quite a bit, but 10% critical hit chance. 678D. 610D. I don't really know what the correlation was. I was going to say that 610 is like a different way of measuring damage, and same for this, but that would make sense for this. This does 6.1 damage and attack power, but these numbers don't match up. 5.5 damage and attack power, 678D, whatever. And, of course, we can't run these at the same time. I think this still runs fast enough. It's weird though, when I flick the transmission, this just turns off entirely. So there's like no way for it to carry power over. Like that doesn't work. But what happens if I put it over here? Seems to work just fine. It barely seems to slow down the health hammer, so that's not bad at all. Maybe that's just how it should be, huh? Well, anyway, we got this place pretty much going. We need a pulverizer, we need a refinery. If we can get a refinery with maybe even with a water wheel going, then I can make the steel cementation furnace, and then we can produce, and then we can be pumping steel out of this place. We can pump coke out of this place. I would need to forage iron hatch doors to do that, and it just takes forever. And we can pump charcoal. We can fill up these bays. We can make steel. We can do all of that. This maybe needs to be reconfigured for max efficiency. More forges, more bellows, nicer looking countertops. This looks pretty nice in here. We haven't even made any armor. I wonder how quenching and tempering works with armor. If it does, it probably doesn't. There's probably better decoration that could be done up here. It is what it is. Okay, shut up. All in all though, those are pretty good tools, and it took a lot of extra effort. Maybe that means it's not worth it. But again, steel takes forever to refine. It takes a week. So maybe we're just maxing out the capability of our steel. I don't know if the amount of time it took to fully quench and temper that is more time than it would take just to craft another steel pickaxe, get the materials, refine it, and everything, you know? It's a long, long process. We have our windmill going. This looks pretty sweet. I gotta chop the tree down. I'll just do it now. That's too bad. They looked really cute. They just don't work in this area, so I gotta get plants growing here, maybe berry bushes, the old kind, because they look like actual bushes. Whatever, we'll figure it out. This was a very long video, I think. I don't know how long this is gonna be because I'm still recording it, but I hope it was entertaining all the way to the end. If you made it all the way to the end, type Elkrum in the comment section. Last video, the secret word was cucumber. Yeah, Elkrum. Show our boy some love. Okay. This was super cool. Again, there's never been a better time to get into this game. This update just dropped. There's a ton of content. I barely covered it, I feel like. So get the game for yourself. Some people worry that it's not on Steam. I don't really understand the dependency on Steam except to track your playtime, but Vintage Story does track your playtime. It tracks the total time spent on your worlds. So if that's what you're worried about, don't. I like supporting independent creators. We should all support independent creators and anything, really, in my opinion. So that's another reason to try out Vintage Story. Thank you to my members who helped me make this all, possible, right? As a thank you, members get extended cuts of the videos. They're just, less edited. All the stuff that I cut out for time, the bits that I think that don't work for the normal video, the members can watch those. Both the tiers do the same thing. One's just like, I guess if you feel more generous than the other, but they're not like, some people out there, they have like a $50 tier just in case someone wants to toss them $50, and I'm like, I don't know, I'm not gonna do that. Not judging them, whatever. Anyway, that was everything. Like, subscribe, the buttons, they're calling to you. I've been Moxer, and have a good night.